Okay, so I know Ten's over there ranting and raving about fucking drama and shit, but they decided to bring my name into it. But for now, fuck him. I'm not really interested in that because something just came to my attention. This is uh this is something, man. This is crazy. Fucking new shit. So, for those that watch this, I want to show where to find this and give credit, man, because this is something. And if it's legit, it's fucking massive, absolutely fucking insane. All right, Las Vegas Shooting Archive. Right now, Ten's little drama fest over there. You know, luckily he did that because luckily I ended up seeing it because LVSA came in with this bombshell. Otherwise, shit, I may not have fucking went on his community tab and even noticed this. But shit, it's got 4 thumbs up already, and I'm one of them. Looks like. Anyways, so I'll read this little message so I get everybody involved in this who's who should be mentioned. It says just want to make everyone aware of a new report that has surfaced 1 day ago too, which was just brought to my attention by LVSOG Bob Wildefish, 10/1/2017. It's a very interesting read with some never before seen information. All right. So click on the link, brings us this site. National File. Now, I don't personally know who runs National File, and I don't necessarily agree with everything that's actually in this article itself, as far as the article goes. Um, I didn't switch over. It's early, and I haven't slept, so this is going to be interesting, and it's going to be hard to make words, but we'll try. We'll try. Let's see. Let's go to window. Actually, let's go to this, and let's go to this. Now I know it's going to tweak some fucking people. I know it's going to tweak a lot of people because it's the Trump National Security Council. So I guess I'll go through this article a little bit before I go through the actual stuff here. Again, National File. I don't know who owns the site, whose site this is. I don't know much about it. And honestly, I may not see a lot of the comments here, but if what's in this report is what they're saying in this bullshit, then this is fucking insane because this does look like the FBI report that we got. So, Trump National Security Council official received report on multiple shooters and Antifa and ISIS involvement in Las Vegas shooting. Let's see, bombshell evidence prepared for recently deceased, and this is by someone named Patrick Howley. I don't know who that is. I never heard that name before. Bombshell evidence prepared for recently deceased Trump National Security Council official explicitly reports on multiple shooters carrying out the Las Vegas terrorist shooting on October 1st, 2017. The report states that Stephen Paddock did not actually commit suicide, but was executed by others, pointing to holy shit. Was Paladin right? Are we saying Paladin might have been right? What the fuck? Pointing to Antifa and ISIS involvement and FBI foreknowledge of the attack. The report also provides evidence that an Antifa group claimed responsibility for the shooting with the message, one of our comrades from our Las Vegas branch has made these fascist Trump-supporting dogs pay. I remember that. The following report was prepared for Rich Higgins, who served in the National Security Council Strategic Planning Office in 2017. Higgins died of complications at a hospital at around 3 a.m., February 23rd, 2022. The more than 50-page report is entitled All Source Assessments Attack on Route 91 Country Music Festival, October 1st, 2017, Mandalay Bay Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada, and was prepared for Higgins shortly after he left National Security Council. Oh, is this Alex Jones' site? Fuck, it figures. Is it? I don't even fucking know. Let's see. According to Rich Higgins, Las Vegas document, the report fuses open source information with tactical counterterrorism analysis, cyber intelligence, and digital data mining capabilities. Report states Steve Paddock may have anticipated the arrival of a fly-in team of additional shooters that would assist in the operational execution. The report names Australian man Brian Hodge. Brian Hodge, person of interest, possible ties to Islamic organizations and a possible Islamic State linkage. Oh my God, dude. I am not going to be able to read this today. The report states Mr. Hodge's personal profiles were befitting of a left wing or anti fascist action affiliate. But recent intelligence reports point to an increased level of collaboration between groups like Antifa and the Islamic State. On page 45, the report states the FBI is closely monitoring Antifa operative engagements with Islamic State and Al Qaeda, Arabian Peninsula, and Islamic Maghreb personnel in Germany. Germany, what? The FBI has discovered a level of chatter between left-wing revolutionary groups and Islamic terrorist groups. It turns out, according to the report, that Mr. Hodge traveled to Berlin, Paris, London, and back to Berlin approximately 2 weeks prior to the attack in Las Vegas. Don't give a shit what's trending. The Las Vegas official single shooter narrative has been torn apart by recent evidence from Mindy Robinson. No, it hasn't. She's full of shit. Her fucking documentary, which shows that other 911 calls identified multiple shooters. There's a ton of evidence that there were clearly bodies in other locations and shooters in other locations. The report has been in communication with the group that created an open source intelligent virtual map of video evidence and incident reports from Vegas, which ranges in location all around the city, a very wide radius. All right, whatever. Sources said there was a shooting. Oh my God, Pelosi. No, I don't want to see Pelosi. I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. Sources have said that there was a shooting at an airport in connection to a possible assassination attempt on Saudi Crown Royal Prince bin Salman, who may have been staying at the Mandalay Bay. Here we go. Hotel then slipped into under. See, it's like, dude, may have been staying at the Mandalay Bay. May have been. So you're saying that you're not sure, but then you're saying he slipped into undercover gear. You're not saying he may have. Fucking idiots. This slipped into undercover gear either to flee the premises or to gamble anonymously before he was forced to flee the premises in disguise. Top floor 35, 39 of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, House of the Four Seasons, Las Vegas. On that night, the Four Seasons Las Vegas was owned by Bill Gates through the firm Cascade Investments, and also Saudi Prince Al Walid bin Talal, who was at odds with bin Salman. Prince Al Walid bin Talal was arrested by Saudis for corruption on November 4, shortly after the shooting. That was the sentence. President Donald Trump quietly dispatched a delegation to Saudi Arabia after the shooting. Left-wing billionaire George Soros fund management shorted, meaning bet against the stock price in Mandalay Bay's MGM. Shortly before the shooting, MGM owns the Mandalay Bay shooting site. MGM Grand CEO James Murren quietly dumped a lot of his personal MGM stock prior to the shooting. Yeah, we all remember that. I don't want to see Nancy Pelosi. Let's see. Brian Hodge, a central figure in the Higgins report on the shooting, which that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. The report explains how Hodge, born in 1981 and linked to a bunch of addresses in West Hollywood. Because he worked out there. His fucking the thing he worked for setting up these conventions, they were based out of Hollywood. Well, they're based out of Los Angeles, so yeah, that doesn't mean shit. Served a witness for the Australian press, claimed to be inside Stephen Paddock's hotel suite in a different half of the suite. But Hodge also claimed on social media that he was hiding in the bushes. He said there were multiple shooters, including one on my hotel room floor. Yeah, I don't remember him saying he was staying in the same room as Paddock, but whatever. Page 29, the Higgins report states further data mining of Mr. Hodges' activity on the night of the attack reveals that while he was originally located at the Mandalay Bay and the surrounding Enterprise area, he departed downtown Las Vegas while publicly claiming to have been hiding in the bushes outside the Mandalay Bay. Mr. Hodges' signatures reveal that he is located approximately 10 miles north of Mandalay Bay Hotel. Yep, early Laura Loomer stuff, man. I don't know, man. We're going to find out she was right? That's fucked up. Page 32, the report refers to Hodges' statement that a security guard had been killed on his floor, which conflicts with the official narrative, which holds that security guard named Jesus Campos was shot repeatedly by Paddock but survived. He wasn't shot repeatedly. He was shot at repeatedly. Yeah, this article sucks. The Higgins report states, but this article is not what we're here to fucking read. It's the FBI report. Let's see. I'm just tearing this up. How did Mr. Hodge know only 3 hours after the attack, in advance of the public and most officials, that security guard had been killed, actually shot and wounded on the 32nd floor? According to the report, intelligence methods reveal that during the frenzy, Hodge stayed at Naughty Pine Motel in North Las Vegas in room number 17. Hey, I may have to go make a trip out to Vegas. Let's see, a room that was associated with a man named German Torres Moreno, Mexican national from the city of Penamo, Mexico in Guanajuato, I think, Mexico, in an area that is rife with ICE recruiting. Oh, yeah, this sounds straight from Laura Loomer. This was definitely the stuff she was hitting on. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, if you look at the stupid blue line on this thing, it looks like the FBI report that we got. If I remember right, it at least looks like the victim report that we got, because that had that same blue header on it. See, according to the report, Hodge communicated and interacted with people associated with various Muslim-oriented groups, including travel to Medina with the front office in Brooklyn. Hodge hails from Melbourne. They're not talking about where he worked, because he worked for a company that did trade shows, set him up and shit. Let's see. That's why he was there. He was there for something called, I think it was NetApp. I think it was NetApp he was there for in Vegas that time. Let's see. Hodge hails from Melbourne Antifa. What? Melbourne Antifa. Back to... Come on, man. What the fuck, dude? There is no fucking country called Antifa. Melbourne, Australia, and went back to Melbourne briefly in December after the shooting for about a day. Evidence shows that Melbourne Antifa took credit for the attack and then deleted the message, with Melbourne Antifa stating, "One of our comrades from our Las Vegas branch has made these fascist Trump-supporting dogs pay." Let's see. ISIS also claimed responsibility, referring to Stephen Paddock as one of their operatives. Not necessarily. They just said that somebody had died over there, but whatever. Paddock, who was dating and living at the Mandalay Bay with a woman from Australia named Mary Lou Danley, who was in the Philippines when the shooting took place. An ISIS communication network said that Paddock had converted to Islam, and ISIS granted him the Muslim name Abu Abdul Bar al-Amriki, as Newsweek reported. Fuck, I forgot about most of this shit. Let's see. According to Al Nava, reportedly in ISIS magazine, ISIS stated, what does that mean? Reportedly in ISIS magazine. What the fuck does that mean? A soldier of the caliphate attacked a gathering of 22,000 Americans at a concert in the city of Las Vegas, resulting in nearly 60 killed and 600 injured, and said brother Abu Abdul Bar stationed himself in a room on 32nd floor of a hotel overlooking the concert, opened fire continuously on the crowds using 23 firearms and more than 2,000 bullets, and died May God accept him after running out of ammunition. He didn't run out of ammunition, but all right. Yeah. Don't know how much of that I believe. Let's see. According to Higgins' report, immediately following the attack during the October 2nd, Mr. Hodge appears in numerous Australian media reports, including print, radio, and television. Notably, he does not share the links to these radio and television interviews on any of his social media outlets. This is highly suspicious behavior. Later in the day, October 2nd, Mr. Hodge departed Las Vegas and arrived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. While in New Mexico, Mr. Hodge appears to travel to Anatolia Doner Kebab House. The restaurant address is affiliated with numerous other businesses in the Albuquerque area and is owned by Mr. Mehet Kokengol and Umet Kokengol. Mr. Mehmet Kokengol appears to be a Turkish national from Adana, Turkey, a known center for Islamic State activity in Turkey. This sounds like a total conspiracy theory. This is crazy. The case of suspicious witness, because they're stringing shit together. They're not saying that this is, they're saying he comes from a place that has these fucking people. Okay, whatever, dude. There's fucking ISIS everywhere. God damn it. You could probably pick any fucking place on you could throw a dart at a fucking globe and say there's ISIS there. The case of suspicious witnesses bears similarity to the case of Chris Mahoney, a supposed car crash eyewitness. What the fuck are we talking about here? Eyewitness for CNN's Wolf Blitzer at the Charlottesville scene. Mahoney, as I revealed, turned out to have been an advisor for George Soros' Open Society Initiative, a social friend of George Soros' son Alexander, a press eyewitness to previous geopolitical activity in Sierra Leone, and a member of the Socialist New Zealand Fabian Society, which uses a crest that portrays a wolf in sheep's clothing, which is an expression used in what are you guys talking about, dude? Fuck, this guy's a fascist, pro-fascist, and we're supposed to say he's like part of Antifa. Whatever, dude. Rich Higgins was fired from the Trump National Security Council in 2017 prior to the Las Vegas attack. After he wrote a political warfare memo that got leaked in which Higgins identified the deep state working against President Donald Trump. Higgins wrote in that memo, in Maoist insurgents, the formation of a counter state is essential to seizing state power. All right, don't give a shit about any of that. And I think that's the end of that. So let's go to the actual article itself, because fuck that. That was just that was a waste of time. Let's see, let's go to window, let's go here. That's where we got it. So let's check this out. Why is it not sharing? Hold up. Jesus, it doesn't want to fucking. All right, let me do this one then. Because for some reason it's not wanting to share that screen. Technical issues. Anyways, that's it right there. All right, so here we go. This beautiful thing. All right, again, so this part where it says executive summary right here, that little blue, header there. That's something that I remember seeing. I know it's in the part the thing with all the victims and where they were shot and all that sort of stuff. And it seems to me it was also in the FBI report, the final 3-page FBI report. Anyway, so let's see what we got here. And again, man, it could be, everything could be faked, but again, thanks for this, man. I said some good came out 10th Stream, man. Fucking ran into you, and you shared this. So let's see, on the Route 91 Country Music Festival, 1 October. Yeah, okay. How semi-automatic weapons modified and pistol. Stephen Paddock and possible accomplices. All right, so executive summary. The assessment was conducted following published reports regarding a possible second shooter or accomplices who accompanied Stephen Paddock. Supposed lone gunman responsible for the attack upon Route 91 Country Music Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada on 1 October 2017. The interesting thing of it is, like, it doesn't say who wrote this, like where this came from. Let's see. The report, well, here we go. Okay. The report fuses open source information with tactical counterterrorism analysis, cyber intelligence, digital data mining capabilities. A result is a comprehensive view that uses existing publicly available data and open source exploitation to propose an alternative theory of investigation. Let's see. The overall data analysis tactical review resulted in several potential investigative pathways and preliminary findings, including the following. One, the attack was likely planned as well as logistically and financially coordinated entirely by Stephen Paddock. Two, Stephen Paddock may have anticipated the arrival of a fly-in team of additional shooters that would assist in the operational execution. However, the team of additional shooters appears to have not arrived or not arrived in the numbers expected. It is also possible that additional members of the cell hadn't yet reached Paddock's suite when a security guard triggered a premature attack initiation. The digital signatures captured tactical tradecraft and media analysis of various individuals strongly suggests that Mr. Brian A. Hodge is a reasonably suspicious person of interest and deserves a much greater level of scrutiny. For social media analysis, social and personal contacts, and geospatial data of Mr. Brian Hodge required detailed further investigation, as preliminary indicators suggest possible ties to Islamic organizations and the possible Islamic State linkage. Five, Mr. Hodge's personal profile is more befitting of a left-wing or anti-fascist action affiliate. Okay, yeah. What does that mean, dude? What does that really fucking mean? Befitting of a left-wing anti-fascist, yeah, whatever, dude. But recent intelligence report point to an increased level of collaboration between groups like Antifa and Islamic State. Analysts believe that there is reasonable articulate suspicion of Mr. Hodge that would justify further observation and analysis. All right. Yeah, I couldn't make it all fit either, man. Let's see. While this assessment is based upon a number of fused database sources, words are hard. Shit. None of the information in this particular report was gleaned from official files or records, but was recreated from other data. As an assessment is our best evaluation based upon the evidence assembled to date, but requires much additional collection and acquisition from disparate database platforms to include public, private, proprietary, subscription-based, restricted access, whatever that means, FUOUO, and closed sources. The view facing the hotel, overlooking ground where the concern occurred, appears below. All right. Is that during this concert? Possibly. Can't tell. Getty images. All right. Shooter's perch was from within at least one and possibly two vantage points identified by the broken out windows, 36th floor of the hotel. Now, again, this is like early information too, because it sounds like this was made back in the day. Let's see. Yeah, the only thing I remember about Hodge, man, is that he worked for some damn company that has a base out of LA, and then he worked out of that LA office. And he was out there for, I don't remember if it was NetApp or NetEase or some shit like that. He was out there for a conference they were having on, I believe it was Tuesday, which would have been what, the 3rd? October 3rd, if I remember right. Let's see, at the time of the first shots, ground level had at least, no, it wasn't at least, but whatever, 22,000 concert goers attending, and separation space between them was minimal, making both discernment and escape very difficult. The effect of the shooting caused panic to include human trampling, as attendees unfamiliar with sniper ambush tactics at first chose to remain in place and reduce their horizontal profiles rather than running away. When the crowd became fully aware what was transpiring, the attendees fled as quickly as possible. The attacker killed 58 people, used more than 1,100 rounds of ammunition. Wow, they stretched the shit out of that picture. Holy fuck. Several hundred additional concert attendees and first responders were hurt in this attack, with many shot and several injured during the fevered effort to escape. Interesting choice of words. The actual attack chronology. The attack begins at the 3:12 mark of the following video. I'm not going to play the video. I don't know. Has anyone watched this video? Any of you guys watched this video yet? Is this something we've already seen? The attackers sight their weapons on the VIP trailers to the left side of the video screen and walk their fire into the crowd in order to ensure their point of aim is correct before deploying the bump stock enabled weapons. Okay. The VIP trailers to the left side of the video screen and walk their oh shit. Well, let's see. I guess we'll click on it. Watch me some fucking. Oh, okay. The old Tall Ace of Spades video is what that's bringing you to. Oh, did I just lose my page? I think I did. Okay. All right, so we kind of know what that video entails anyway, so we're fine. Let's see, where the hell was I? Let's see. Right here. The attack continues for approximately 10 minutes, with shooter engaging internal external targets from. So it's interesting. The beginning of this is interesting. You know, with what they're saying about the attacker sight their weapons on the VIP trailers to the left side of the video screen. I don't know how they know that. I don't know how that's because I don't even know if that's accurate. He hit somebody in the crowd with that. So he hit somebody dead center, which he said that he walked his. Okay, I don't know. Oh, fuck, man. I haven't seen new videos. All right, well, let's see. We'll talk about that. The attack continues for approximately 10 minutes. Shooters engaging internal and external targets from the two-room suite in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Several websites disseminating theories of possible additional shooters' location, both within the Mandalay Bay itself and external to the Mandalay Bay, have thus far failed to provide any publicly available evidence to support these claims. Law enforcement has publicly refused to consider a possible second shooter theory. However, some analysts appear to be looking at other possible evidence suggesting that Mr. Paddock did not act alone, directly or indirectly. The recent arrest of Mr. Haig for providing illegal ammunition to Mr. Paddock is not considered strategically relevant. All sound phenomena observed by our analysts are explained by sound signature differential between internal and external to the hotel target engagements. The muffled shots, incorrectly identified as being distant, heard in a widely viewed taxi video, are either echoes of the rifle reports from. It's written really well though, man, because they're going to have the thumbnail down there for the taxi video. It's kind of crazy how they use YouTube to do it, but whatever. Heard in a widely viewed taxi video are either echoes or rifle reports from externally directed shots or internally directed shots at the security guard and maintenance man. Let's see. Oh, talking about 10? Yeah, fuck 10 for now. He's fucking loony. No reason to bring up that drama. By way of background, internally directed firing generates no echo as sound absorbent items like furniture or walls located throughout the hotel room muffle those rifle reports. According to some analysts, rifle reports echoes internal versus external targets, microphone placement, and open closed windows near the audio recording devices, primarily iPhones and other PDAs, account for acoustic phenomena discovered thus far. However, tactical analysts believe there is a possible second shooter present in the audio stream, and that this shooter is discernible at various points throughout the attack. I want to know when and where. These analysts recommend additional detailed acoustic analysis. I hate that fucking word. Of the entire event with a focus on the possible constructive interference and or noise generation of sound waves within the RAF reports, post-filtering the audio stream for numerous echoes and other noise. Sub-optimized due to non-synchronous firing of weapons, this constructive interference actually creates sound amplification spikes, loudness in the sound waves themselves, and this would indicate the presence of a second shooter. This phenomena would be best captured from audio-video devices close to the Mandalay Bay firing points. Online theories posting a second shooter being located closer to Route 91 Festival and claiming to employ forensic acoustics fail to account for variable factors that would need to be measured and or known for such analysis to be accurate. Online theories. All right. Watching your videos. Let's see. Oh, is that? Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering. Like, who are the analysts? Yeah, are they talking about fucking people online? Are they getting all their information? I mean, if this is the government, why are they getting shit from people online, man? What's that about? That's weird. Let's see. For example, two shooters acting from the same firing point and engaging targets over a wide area would generate overlapping bullet trajectories as well as overlapping sound phenomena. Additionally, the audio recording devices employed would need to include a means to discern between ricochets, supersonic bullets, bullet impacts, as well as no distance between audio recording device and the acoustic phenomena being captured. So, like, Health Ranger actually did a very good job, man. He actually subjugated the different sounds. He did a very good job in that. Um, whether all the shit was accurate or not, I can't tell. But I didn't know what video he took that from. But let's see. Yeah, they're using all the internet stuff for their own research. That's fucked up. Let's see. At the very beginning of another video, two distinct streams of fire appear to be discernible. The first 5 audible shots appear to originate from the first shooter, who pauses after these first 5 shots. Second possible shooter, who is firing at a much higher rate of speed and for a longer duration, follows immediately thereafter. The first shooter then begins firing at the same time as the second shooter, but at a noticeably slower rate. All this takes place within the first 5 seconds of the video. But okay, so these were different guns, though. I mean, everything was, he was swapping out guns. Things were happening. He wasn't like consistently firing the same gun. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons that could have happened. These seemingly disparate sound streams cannot logically come from the same weapon fired at the same time. Exactly. By the same lone shooter. Yeah, well, could have been the same shooter. One of the areas of keen interest is the acoustics and sounds that are being stripped and separated using highly sophisticated programs that digitally lay down the signature for each sound emission, or in this case, each shot from each gun and from every potential angle. Again, constructive interference of rifle reports in this video stream may provide the most solid indicator as to the presence of a second shooter. Still, sound pathology is only as good as the recording device that collects or acquires the sound and its ability to accurately capture the targeted sounds in a cluttered acoustic environment. Yeah, if they're talking about just like the Health Ranger here, it's like, what are you doing? You're like basically just giving a dialogue about his video. It's weird. Let's see. Some pundits, and he's been banned. Some pundits assess that this discrepancy in firing rates may be due to the fact that one of the shooters being more familiar with the bump stock employment. It is known that Mr. Paddock was conducting shooting practice at a remote location not far from his home prior to the event, and therefore had some practice or practical experience in bump stock usage. Yeah, dude, I'm sure that wasn't the only time he fucking fired those things. This remote location would have been the The only low signature means to train on bump stocks, they are not generally permitted or, if allowed, rarely observed in most civilian shooting ranges. But I think if you go, I forget what it is, like 50 miles out into the desert away from any civilization, you can fire whatever the fuck you want. Let's see, Mr. Paddock's possible training on bump stocks with a first shooter less familiar with bump stock might potentially explain discrepancy between firing rates. Let's see, there's a YouTube video. Yeah, I forget what the YouTube video. I don't care. That's probably Health Ranger. Let's see, at the 320 mark of the same video, there appear to be two distinct pistol shots that complete all shooting associated with this incident. This audio evidence calls into question the official narrative of the single shooter suicide. These two shots are more indicative of an execution scenario where one unknown shooter disables the known shooter, Mr. Paddock, with the first shot to the sternum, and then executes Mr. Paddock with a second shot to the head. Or were those at the tanks? Were those last two shots at the fucking tank? Those shots could have been anywhere, dude. They're speculating. They're just speculating. Current investigative direction is focused upon finances, forensics, biometrics, audiovisual recordings, incident reconstruction, witness statements. However, the traditional and contemporary approach to such a complex investigation is not sufficient. One must also include analysis of various individuals' social media profiles, geospatial device rectification. It sounds like a dirty word. Against witnesses and suspect statements, as well as other classified applications. This instant assessment incorporates traditional counterterrorism investigative approaches, supplemented by basic social media profiling and tradecraft analysis. The Manlip Bay Suite, federal and state law enforcement narrative. We know what it is. Let's see. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department leaked several photos of the suite rented by Stephen Paddock in the days following the attack. These photos depict what appears to be Mr. Paddock, deceased, and on the floor, Suite 32135. The narrative, as provided by the FBI and Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, is that Mr. Paddock acted alone, bought numerous semi-automatic weapons for some unknown reason. Maybe just like guns, dude. I mean, who knows? And employed these weapons by himself in the attack of the Route 91 festival. Several of the firearms pictured were configured with bump stocks in order to maximize weapon lethality against an area target. Let's see. However, this narrative does not account for the number of weapons procured or the escape plan of Mr. Paddock. Also, this narrative does not align with the photos that have been leaked to the media. Why does it not align? Let's see. Regarding the number of weapons, Mr. Paddock appears to have been doing both pre-attack logistics as well as reconnaissance in Chicago and Boston for a wider series of attacks. Furthermore, Mr. Paddock may have been preparing for some sort of conflict, but to date, no information has emerged to explain that he was fully aware of who exactly he was conducting these activities on behalf of, whether just for himself or others as an unwitting dupe, or as a willful actor in concert with others. Okay, yeah, whatever, dude. Despite this information gap, Mr. Paddock's yeah, okay. They did come out with something later, I guess. This is probably before the FBI report. Anyway, despite this information gap, Mr. Paddock's purchasing pattern reflects a violent behavior profile that appears to be inspired by political or ideological bent. What? What are you talking about? What is this? Jesus. Okay, so Mr. Paddock's purchasing pattern reflects a violent behavior. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Like, how do you have a violent behavior by what you're purchasing? It appears to be inspired by political or ideological bent. How? What did he buy that was political or ideological other than weapons? Weapons in America are not that freaking uncommon, so that's stupid. One possible domestic political group would be Antifa related. Total speculation, but searches within his digital DNA have thus far failed to identify any known associations that would confirm this. Yes, of course. His DNA? What? Oh, digital DNA. Okay. However, what is evidence is that Mr. Paddock's views were completely contrary to those espoused by and as a result of the election of President Trump. Yeah. Yeah, whatever, bro. Speculation. Circumstantially, Mr. Paddock's first weapons were reportedly purchased in October 2016, with numerous additional weapons, more than 40, purchased in the run up to the attack. The coincidence of such an escalating ramp of weapon procurement is all beginning just after the election, compelling and cannot be ignored. Mr. Paddock's weapon purchasing pattern prior to October 2016 is not clear from open source and is fraught with uncertainties that we don't feel confident assessing. So, what they're saying right here is that this guy bought a bunch of guns after 2016, which is weird, but we don't know what he bought before 2016. We have no idea. But it's weird that he bought a bunch of guns after 2016, right? Because like reasons. It's stupid. This is starting to piss me off. Let's see. Moreover, the behavior baking period from point of first procurement to final act of terror, I love how they call it terrorism, is extremely short, and the election appears to have been the tripwire. The speculation, dude. You're totally speculating on that, with a final act inspired by other unknown factors. Key is trying to understand what his purpose was in doing dismounted surveillance in Chicago and Boston, and apparently without any weapons on hand. Let's see. The need to have multiple room suites for the attack may have been due to the planned participation of several shooters. Speculation. If the original attack plan called for 4 or 5 shooters, the spacing between firing points would have been necessary. I mean, you got a point, but it's still speculation, as would have been some form of noise and smoke abatement. Having a second room for the attacker with the extra space required. Having a second room for attackers. I was going to say if it was one attacker, then no, that doesn't make any sense. Let's see. One dead shooter theory, non-suicide. So this is like, I guess this is just a bunch of theories, is what it looks like. As stated above, law enforcement leaked several photos of the shooting scene. To date, there has been very little overt release of internal law enforcement assessments of this shooting, notwithstanding the gravity of the number of deceased victims, injured victims, the psycho horror toll, that's a weird word, and economic impact upon the city of Las Vegas and the United States. All of these consequential and concomitant factors, that's a big word, add to the gravity of this event, which is seemingly minimized by the paucity. What are you doing, dude? Is that your dictionary word of the day? Of data being released to answer the key questions on Americans' minds. Why? Let's see. It's important to note the shooters would not be able to easily discern the level of sensitivity to the smoke, chemical, alarm systems in each room. Many factors can cause alarms to work one way in one room and to perform differently in another. The point being, in a small room, so many guns going off for such a period of time could have resulted in the alarms going off, rushing the attackers, and reducing the totality of the massacre. All right, whatever. Let's see. From a practical perspective, while it's important for law enforcement to maintain control over its investigation, it is important to release data that will inspire and promote the general public's desire and willingness to cooperate and provide leads. 2 highly charged and gruesome death photos were released. Oh my God, YouTube's gonna flag the shit out of this video. Were released that fixate the viewer upon the horror, thus distracting from more important, albeit seemingly mundane details. These images appear below. Yeah, they could strike this. I care less. They got me on another video for showing that picture. The above pictures depict an individual who some whatever, could not have committed suicide, but rather was executed. We note a number of anomalies consistent with such theory. Um, let's see. Okay. One automatic weapon is photographed appearing to be over the deceased's left leg. Oh, yeah, the gun over the leg. But could not have remained in this position as the body fell to the floor. Clearly, this weapon was in Mr. Paddock's hand or near him when he committed suicide. How could it thereafter find itself lying on top of him as portrayed? Well, they played weekend of that a bit, so I don't know. There appear to be two gunshot wounds on Mr. Paddock. First is a wound to the sternum. Oh shit! I'm like probably lagging out. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna turn off. I gotta change my internet here. Let's see if it leaves me out of this thing. Hold on a sec. Let me make sure that I'm talking. I've probably been all choppy this whole time. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I just noticed that my phone's like tripping out. All right, let's see. In the second picture, analysts note that there appear to be two gunshot wounds in Mr. Paddock. First is a wound to the sternum area that bled for a short time before his heart stopped. And the second wound to the head, possible scenario is that the first shot knocked Mr. Paddock to the ground. Since the autopsy has not been released, it's not possible to positively determine if this wound to the chest is a gunshot or blood from some other source, not clearly portrayed in the photos. Yeah, that's not right. That's all right. So to break that down, if he was shot in the sternum, well, okay, so it bled for a short time before his heart stopped beating. So if he shot in the sternum, there would be a shit ton of blood because his heart wouldn't have stopped beating right away, even when he shot himself in the head, because obviously the head bled for a long fucking time. So if the first shot was in the sternum, you would expect more blood to come out of there than his head. At least I would. I don't know. I'm not a forensic pathologist, but who knows? Let's see. Research has shown that the greater majority of crimes that law enforcement successfully solves are done not only as a result of their own skill, but because they receive an abundance of leads from a caring public who truly do wish to try and help. While a majority of these leads are not relevant, it only takes a few good leads to key the lock. Okay, whatever. Let's see. We note that the weapon under Mr. Paddock's leg was most likely carried in his left hand. Mr. Paddock was left-handed. They're saying he was left-handed by a stock and fell under him as Paddock fell backwards from the impact of the first shot. The second shot appears to be the fatal headshot in the mouth. In essence, according to a non-suicide theory, Mr. Paddock appears to have been executed where he is lying in the photo. Okay. Additionally, the autopsy report describes the bullet trajectory as front to back and slightly upward. This is consistent with a possible homicide in which the victim is executed. How is that? I mean, you stuck a gun in a dude's mouth and blasted it. I mean, how is that? What? I mean, fucking. If he was shot in the back of the head, yeah. I mean, or even the side, even the temple, dude. But you're talking about the mouth, man. I don't know. I don't buy it. Let's see. After a successful breach entry into room 32135, SWAT had to breach their way into room 32134 as the internal door between two rooms had been locked from inside. No, they're not locked. They don't have a fucking handle. Well, yeah. Actually, they are locked, aren't they? Yeah, they probably are locked. But that doesn't mean anything. That means nothing. So theory goes that after killing here we go. Theory goes after killing Mr. Paddock with a shot into his face, mouth. The unknown second shooter placed a pistol in Mr. Paddock's chest, exited through room 32134. Okay. I mean, yeah, would that make sense? Well, I mean, no, not in that context, I'm thinking stupid. Actually, no, because that's not. No. I was thinking, what if the pistol was on his chest when they came in the room? But no, that doesn't make sense. Because I'm not pushing the 2-shooter thing. I'm just saying that my head ain't working straight right now. But if that blood stain on his shirt came from the pistol landing on his chest, but no, probably not. Most likely not. Most likely it was just some dude with a bloody glove grabbed this fucking dude and rolled him over. Who knows? This unknown second shooter then locks the internal door behind him and exits the crime scene through the external hallway door 32134. Yeah. And he magically jumped the fucking cart outside of the room, like vaulted it, did a little cross country there. Yeah, whatever. Note that and got through Campos. Let's see. Note that the police report details the second pair of gloves found in the bed. Actually, in order for that to be accurate, what they're saying is these two dudes were up there, rattling out, belting out fucking rounds, or they're saying that Paddock was dead, fucking, for weeks at this time or whatever. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because somebody shot the final shot. Somebody shot those shots at at the end. And if they shot shots at the end, you had all kinds of people in that hallway at the time, which it's not just Campos they had to get by. They had to get by a bunch of shit. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. All right. So package wearing gloves time. Note that the police report details second pair of gloves found on the bed in room 32134. Stephen Paddock was wearing gloves at the time of his death. Yeah. Yep. That is a strange thing. To whom do these gloves belong? And were they tested for gunshot residue or DNA? The hallway door of room 32134 opens inward and is partially concealed by the cart placed in front of it, allowing for facile egress. Whatever. Big words, man. Big words. Somebody's got their dictionary out. Yeah, it's dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's stupid. He's not vaulting over the cart. At time of the attack, room 32134. And I mean, why would he push the cart back in place? I mean, I guess, whatever. But if he's got to jam out of there really quickly, why would you push the cart back in place? Why wouldn't you just like push out into the hallway and just leave it there? Let's see. At the time of the attack, room 32134 was not damaged by automatic weapons fire. What? Oh yeah, 134 was. Wasn't it? It was kicked. It was kicked. There was a crack in the door. Let's see. It was not included in the initial reports. The shooting and was not directly associated with the events in any way. The door, I'm guessing they're talking about. Only later in the evening, around 11:20 p.m., as SWAT approaches the entrance suite 1 through 5, do the police notice the cameras placed in the cart and the wires running into 1 through 4? Okay. Presently available timelines depict the first police forces arriving on 32nd floor approximately 10:17 p.m. But SWAT does not breach suite 135 until an hour later, 11:20. Clearing individual rooms on the hallway during their approach slowed their access to the shooter's suite. Let's see. Below is a picture of the room following the police department breach. The picture shows a piece of the broken off and bullet-ridden door laid sideways across left side door. Crime scene tape fixed by local authorities. A cable running across the floor or the suite. Various magazines. A broken off doorknob plate. A broken off exit sign and a weapon that appears to be an AR-10 or AR-15 with a tripod and scope. Of course, the picture. This is there you go, LVSA, man. That's your logo right there. Awesome. It's not clear from publicly available sources if the wounded security guard, Mr. Jesus Campos, and the maintenance man, Mr. Stephen Schuck, were still in the hallway during the time window that the possible escape of a second shooter might have occurred. If there was a minute or two between the final pistol shot, a police arrival on 32nd floor, and the security guard and maintenance man had both already departed the hallway or did not have eyes on the two rooms affiliated with the incidents, then it is very possible that second shooter may have exited the crime scene undetected. Even if the police and hotel staff had been present, it is possible the second shooter appeared as a guest, leaving the room proximate to but not involved with the incident, could have avoided detection. We saw the people they evacuated from those rooms. They're on camera. I'm sure they went through them. Let's see. There are no cameras on 32nd floor or near room 32134 with direct views of the room entrance. Other cameras located near the elevator lobby may have captured any person going into or out of the room, and this would be dispositive of the second shooter theory. You know who's going into that? Well, no, I'm not going to talk about that. Let's see. Such a possible second shooter would likely have adopted a cover and appears just another hotel guest. If confronted in the hallway, the second shooter's cover story would have been that he was in a room adjacent to the incident in order to account for his presence on any expected security camera footage or his observation by other persons in the hallway. This would have been an effective cover to exit the hotel, as it was understood at the time of the attack that the incident only involved room 32135. It wasn't until time approximately 11:20 p.m. of the SWAT breach of room 32135 that police learned that the room 32134 was also a part of the crime scene attack. Yeah, but we have a camera on it from 1017 on. I mean, it's stupid. If confronted in the hallway or later by police, the second shooter would simply have stated that he was in the room next door to room 32135 as cover story. So this must have been before a lot of the video footage came out. I'm sorry, I'm just reading comments. Let's see. Similarly, it would also not be unusual or even suspicious to see a person running from the area and creating a greater panic, except that we didn't see that, which would further increase the chaos level and provided additional cover for escape. In the leaked photos above, the pictured pistol location is probably not its original location at the time of the SWAT breach. Good, at least they admit that. Level of crime scene contamination is not known. Our tactical analysis assessed that it is likely SWAT breached the room and removed the weapon from Paddock's chest. This weapon displacement is consistent with normal police and SWAT protocol. Yeah, this was definitely written a long time ago. It's interesting, though. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting if it's legit. Let's see. Hammer, broken window, shooter's body, officers breach second door, camera indoor peephole, open suitcases, officers breach. Yeah, okay. I mean, they don't have a lot of information on this. I mean, they're going off of information before a lot of this stuff was released, which is interesting. Because if this is like official, it's like, what the fuck, man? Whoever wrote this didn't have all the information that we now have. Let's see. When one considers possibility of a suspect, second shooter, or accomplice, there is one individual who has been a potential actor, Mr. Brian Albert Hodge, born 16 February 1981, who publicly claimed to have been staying in the room next to Mr. Paddock. Mr. Hodge traces to Social Security account number, but it is not clear when this account was actually assigned to him. Why can you not figure that out? You have the IRS at your disposal, right? Let's see. Mr. Hodge hails from Wagga Wagga, New South Wales, Australia, and his social media profile claims that he specializes in concert promotion and production. Searches into his background have returned with much data, but even more important is the discovery of information known to be his legacy DNA data, which was willfully concealed and or deleted by him following the events of 1 October. Let's see. Persons who delete their digital footprints often believe that it is gone permanently and forever when it is not. Um, Nearly all data can be recovered through a number of different tools that are available, both COTS and U.S. government forensic uh, recovery instrumentation. The key is that Mr. Hodge thought that he could delete the data and it could never be recovered. In some cases, the purposeful deletion of data is evidence of consciousness of guilt, and the motive is to impede, obstruct, and delay. Yeah, I don't agree with that, but all right. Yeah, that's what the article says. This was official. This is an official fucking thing that got sent to a Trump advisor. The problem is who wrote it. That's what I want to know. Like, who wrote this fucking thing? Because this is like I said, it's old information. But it's interesting if like you're talking about government sources, like why they couldn't get more information than was actually out at that time. Why they're checking the internet for their theories and stuff. You know. Let's see. Mr. Hodge linked to many addresses in the West Hollywood, California area. I wonder what those addresses are, man. That might be interesting. If he has addresses out there, because I think Paddock had places out there. Let's see. His digital footprint reveals his residence was what? Why did they redact that? Since at least 4 January 2016. However, it appears that he recently moved November 2017 and is now receiving bills at. Yeah, why is that redacted? Why is it redacted? That's weird. Mr. Hodge's California driver's license is pictured here. Oh, there he is. Look at that guy. And it says Hollywood, California. Let's see. When does he got to renew it? I don't know. Whatever. Mr. Hodge traces several cellular phone lines, most frequently used being blah, blah, but also use this one as well as this one. All right. Could be a work phone. I don't know why he's got three, though. Mr. Hodge, Time Warner cable provider, also functions as internet service provider. His cell phone is tied to this account, and the email used for this account is all right. Key future investigative and collection efforts should focus on the following. Oh, there's his email address. We could probably dig that up. Usernames identified through social and digital media exploitation included are verified to include. Oh, now that's interesting. That's interesting. We can go into some bid verified shit and find some stuff on those email addresses. I have to remember that. Let's see. So, Mr. Hodge's principal phone used during the time of the Las Vegas attack was whatever. It should be further exploited. Nice wording. Mr. Hodge's basic telco profile appears below, followed by his identifiers. Brian Albert Hodge. Let's see. West Hollywood. Yeah. Number of associates 10. Oh, so this is his. This is the report. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah. This is some interesting stuff you can dig into. As stated above, Mr. Hodge traced numerous addresses during the short time that he has lived in California. Most are all in West Hollywood, California. All right. Mr. Hodge, place of employment is the George P. Johnson Experience Marketing Agency. The corporation is headquartered at why did they redact that? And the phone number there is, you can find this online. Mr. Hodge, Social Security account number was checked for all addresses in the United States using both commercial and non-commercial databases that call information from banking, financial credit, money changer, and other liquid cash asset platforms. And we found 12 entries for him for the period of 3 years. The abstract for each address and the dates when they were reported to the gateways. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So what is this saying? I'm like drawing a blank here. Let's see information. Okay, so what is this? Phone record. Oh, okay, I see. So yeah, it's all the times he's done credit checks, I guess. Um, that's what that looks like. Yeah, that's what that looks like. He's his credit checks, credit history. So they use the IRS for this. I don't see why they couldn't use the IRS for I don't know, whatever it was I was talking about above. Um, we checked the address information. I linked it back to Bryant, Mr. Hodge, but he also has used a date of birth in January 1981. That's not his own. Fuck, we've all done that. I've done that, man. You put January 1st just because you're lazy. Um, Based upon his Social Security account records. The information below is derived from customer information profile of at least one banking facility where he has a relationship. Let's see. Part of random pool. Let's see. Blah, blah. Yeah. Not sure what all this nonsense is. Let's see. Second source reported similar address trace information, but with slightly different dates. Source shows that Mr. Hodge first reported. So they're going on been verified and shit. It looks like doing this. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. The source shows Mr. Hodge. I mean, that credit report wasn't, but let's see. The source shows that Mr. Hodge was first reported into the database on 4th of March 2013 and continues to use his account number as recently as 14th November 2017. As can be seen from profile below, the addresses used by Mr. Hodge from November 2015 through today's date. Let's see, but he also simultaneously traces. Why did they? Why did they redact the date? What the fuck? But he also simultaneously traces to his second and third address. The second address, which appears to be a legacy address, is identified as whatever. Third address, which he appears to have moved into after the attack, is identified as redacted and is tied to his MasterCard account. Hodge began using the redacted address in November 2013, and the last day when it was used was November 2015, thus overlapping his DeLongpre address by 2 years. Oh, they didn't fucking redact that one. Since the attack, Mr. Hodge begun using the Havenhurst Drive address and is this latest address that is tied to his credit card. Mr. Hodge's three identified credit cards: Bank of America Visa Debit, MasterCard Platinum Select Corporate Card. That's it? That's all you got? Really? Fuck, man, I got more credit cards than that. And one of these is a business credit card. The fuck? There are many possible explanations for why databases will report overlapping addresses from the benign and benevolent. We would need to access another data program to determine the intensity of his use of these three addresses and exact dates during the next phase of our inquiry. Yeah, we see that with some of the Paddock shit too. Additionally, it appears that Mr. Chris Pasquale Smith shares at least one of these residences with Mr. Hodge. Mr. Smith's location on the night of the attack, as well as his background digital profile, must also be explored further as part of comprehensive investigation. Um, why? Why that guy? All right, whatever. The overlap dates and addresses is abstracted below. Who is Mr. Pasquale Smith? When checking various known social media accounts and using sophisticated commercial tracking tools, found a number of unusual behaviors and actions. We note that non-public database systems employed by analysts were used to recover other suspects' handles that trace to the name Brian Hodge. Whether these handles are associated with Brian Hodge under study would require additional in-depth analysis. Refinement of the queries was done using his name and date of birth, as well as name and telco intel, as well as name and addresses, both current and past. When the restrictors were employed, we found the following details, and it's all redacted. Awesome. Let's see, top sites. Okay. We expanded and scanned the included possible email addresses, which recovered several email addresses used by Mr. Hodge. Further, future Investigative efforts can utilize legal process to obtain all needed metadata, as our background analysis showed that the addresses, see comprehensive email list earlier in this document, are active. So there's his West Hollywood stuff. I'm guessing those are his addresses. They're big on these addresses, man. At Mac.com? What? That's an old ass email. Let's see. Let's see. Political assessment. Mr. Brian Hodge from Facebook postings. Mr. Hodge's Australian background and support for left wing causes is well documented throughout his Facebook profile. Although he does not outwardly appear to advocate violence. While not excessively political, it is clear from his Facebook activity that Mr. Hodge supports left wing issues such as transgender rights, support of gay marriage, and shit, man. This is all before fucking 2020, dude. And that he holds some anti right wing views. These views possibly developed following an incident in Australia during which right wing activists who allegedly kicked him in the face assaulted Mr. Hodge. He got fucking beat up, dude. So now he's pissed. This incident is documented in Mr. Hodge's social media commentary to an Australian member of parliament captured here. Remember the time I took a kick in the face when working for you in McCormick? And what's more interesting about that, don't let me get kicked in the face again. Love is love. What's interesting about that is he worked for an Australian member of parliament. I don't know why they didn't mention that. He worked for an Australian member of parliament. Let's see. Front page of his Facebook profile. There we go. Creative, versatile leader, spending over 20. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Let's see. Huh. Okay. I didn't know I didn't know there was a video like that out there. Let's see. So Hodge arrives in Vegas prior to October 1st, 2017 attack. According to Legacy social media analysis, Mr. Hodge traveled to Las Vegas on the afternoon 30 September 2017 and arrived in Vegas approximately 17:30. According to Facebook, Mr. Hodge visited the Bellagio Hotel on the evening of September 30th, although it's not clear at what point he arrived or departed the facility or whom he was meeting with. Mr. Hodge checks into the Mandalay Bay room. So where did he go? He went to Bellagio. Yeah. Room 32314 at approximately 12:15 a.m. October 1st. So he did have a room on 32nd floor. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's something I didn't know. I always thought he was full of shit when he said that. Although, do I believe this? I don't know. I don't know if I believe this info. Let's see, Mr. Hodge's Twitter social media activity prior to the attack. Mr. Hodge's Twitter handle bhodge81. Oh, I wonder if that's still active. And early in the day of September 30th, Mr. Hodge posted on his Twitter account the following picture and post. Totally fitting. We all know I'm an angel. Ha ha ha. At I don't know, Los Angeles something. Yeah, but who knows what that was? Yeah, it's Instagram. Okay. Note that Twitter posting picture above in Los Angeles includes an active Twitter geo locating capability. The post shows Mr. Hodge located in Los Angeles, California, prior to his departure for Las Vegas. After arriving in Las Vegas, and during the first portion of his trip, Mr. Hodge's Twitter account remained inactive until an hour before the time of the attack on the Route 91 festival. All right. Hodge's Twitter inactivity during the immediately following the attack on the evening of the attack Sunday night, October 1st, Mr. Hodge became inactive on Twitter again. Yeah, that can kind of happen when shit goes down. Utilizing his Facebook and Instagram accounts as well. Yeah, I would think so. Tactical analysis point to the potential of numerous indicators in Mr. Hodge's social media usage that could represent the use of social media to develop a covert legend. which may have been used to mask involvement in Las Vegas terrorist attack. That, or he could have just been tweeting out, "Hey, what the fuck? Someone's shooting at us." I mean, Jesus. Could have been going on Facebook saying, "We're all safe and okay in Las Vegas after the shooting." Um, Mr. Hodge became active on his Twitter account during the evening of October 1st and 2nd, 2017. Let's see. Yeah. This seems like it's written by Loomer, to be honest with you. But, whatever. Mr. Hodge came active on his Twitter account. Yeah, whatever. The Twitter postings below appear to be deceptive in their nature. Mr. Hodge, dog whistles. Mr. Hodge published the following Twitter postings during the attack at approximately 10:52 p.m. Las Vegas time. Mr. Hodge posts that he is hiding in the bushes, which he wasn't, because we have video of those bushes. At least I think the bushes that he was hiding in. However, we found that Mr. Hodge took the active step to disable his Twitter geolocation function since the departure from Los Angeles. That's a little weird. Let's see. Okay, disabling a feature may be an attempt to mask his actual location. Could be. Yeah, it doesn't mean that's what it is, but all right. This need to disable Twitter geolocation is a surveillance avoidance tactic that is taught amongst various bad actors, including domestic and international terrorist groups. Fuck, man. Maybe he's cheating on his wife, dude. I mean, who knows? Who the fuck knows why he would do that? Let's see. I'm hiding in the bushes outside. It's crazy. No, really, shipmate. Stay safe. Yeah, it's chaotic. Multiple shooters. One on my hotel room floor, and now an explosion just went off. Yeah, that's really strange that he knew all that shit. It's really strange. At approximately 11:21 p.m. Vegas time, Mr. Hodge again posts here. So when was this first one posted? Do they have a time on this? No, they don't. They don't have a time on this one, because that would be interesting to see that. At approximately 11:21, he posted this shit. Okay, he posted the same thing. Oh, well, that's the second. That's the retweet, or that's the comment. Whatever. All right. I see what you're doing here. So it was 11:20. The explosion just went off. So, wonder if he was up in the room. I mean, he would have, right? He would have been up in, but I don't know. Too tired to think about this shit. Let's see. Mr. Hodge, geolocation feature remains disabled throughout the attack timeline. And in the post above, he claims that there are multiple shooters with one on my hotel room floor. So if he disabled the geolocation, why are they saying he was at that hotel up the street, like a mile away or whatever? If he disabled the geolocation, unless there was something on something else that I don't know. Let's see. Is this terminology possibly a mistake by the unknown second shooter? And killer Paddock. Paddock was at this point deceased on Hodge's hotel room floor. Why did Mr. Hodge take deliberate, necessary steps to disable his Twitter geolocation capability during the period of time pre and post attack? Let's see. Later that night, the attack during the following morning at 2:43 a.m. October 2nd, Mr. Hodge checks into the Vdara in Paradise, Nevada, which is located in downtown Las Vegas. His Twitter posting features the following text and picture: "Finally safe at Vdara Hotel." Right, so he got kicked out of Mandalay Bay. He had to find another hotel. That's what this tells me. Whatever. Twitter posts above. Mr. Hodge has now reactivated his Twitter geolocation feature. Picture attached to this Twitter post and shared via Instagram from the Vdara Hotel centered on the Mandalay Bay in the distance. See here. Okay, so here's a question. Does this guy allow permissions for geolocation only when he allows it? Because I know iPhones do that, right? So, it's possible that the damn thing, he took a picture right before he left LA. So the geolocation goes on because he wants to say where he's at in LA. Um, and as he's posted the picture, it's probably, he probably wanted to show where it was. And, it's asking him, do you want to let, Twitter use or Instagram use your uh, geolocation? He says yes, approves it. It gets done. It turns immediately back off. Um, and then he goes to Vidar here. He does the same thing, right? He takes this picture. He wants to show where he's at, and that he's safe or whatever, giving him the benefit of the doubt here, and turns the geolocation back on to to allow you know that process to happen, or he gives the permission for it to use the geolocation. Um, I don't know. We'd have to see what his permissions are on his phone, but I don't know. Hodges' Twitter activity during the days after the attack. See, I'm having a problem here. Um, I'm having a problem here trying to figure this out because they were saying earlier, the Laura Loomer thing, where he was staying at that hotel with, these people, these Mexican nationals that, come from a place where there's ISIS involvement. And now they're saying that he was at the Mandalay Bay. So I don't fucking know. I don't know where they're going with this. They're all over the place. Hodges' Twitter activity during the days after the attack. In the days following the attack in Las Vegas, Mr. Hodge becomes oddly silent on his Twitter account. Yeah, because, he probably just opened the fucking Twitter account so that he could see what the fuck people were saying about the shooting. So he could look at videos like all of us did. And, post his own shit. You know, not everybody uses Twitter like every 10 minutes, man. That's fucking weird shit when people do that. So, and back then I don't think a lot of people did. I did the same thing. I had a Twitter account. I just turned it on when there was a fire or something crazy going on. I wanted to see what the hell it was. That's it. Let's see. However, other sources reveal Mr. Hodge departs the Las Vegas area by unknown means of travel on October 2nd, traveled east to Albuquerque, New Mexico, arriving later that same day. Note that this travel is not publicly acknowledged on any of his social media. So, how do you know? Let's see. How do you know this? However, other sources. What sources? What sources? Because to my knowledge, he was supposed to have a convention he was running on the 3rd. From what I remember seeing, I think I even saw the pictures of the thing he was doing on his Instagram or something. That's weird, man. Mr. Hodge appears to be concealing this travel to New Mexico. Hodge's Facebook social media activity prior to the attack. Mr. Hodge is a prolific user of Facebook and shares numerous substantial life events with a wide audience of his Facebook friends. On the evening of the attack, Mr. Hodge is active on Facebook at 20:51 p.m. Um, oh my God! So 8:51, October 1st, approximately 1 hour before the attack. Mr. Hodge posts on Facebook from the Kumi Japanese restaurant, which is located in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. The post shows Mr. Hodge having a team dinner and geolocates him as being in Las Vegas while eating at the restaurant. So, okay. So, yeah, I mean, the geolocation just turns on when he takes pictures and shit. It's not always on. All right. Interestingly, the coroner's report of CM Pack's body show high level of arsenic and mercury, which would be consistent with the consumption of raw fish prior to death. The restaurant is pictured here. The Facebook post seen below. Oh my God, they solved it. They serve fish there. That means Paddock must have been there. Fucking crazy. There's a live shooter with a gun in my hotel in Las Vegas right now, but I got outside safely and hiding in the bushes. So 10:29 p.m. That's fucking weird. And then at 11:20, he knows that there's an explosion on the floor. Did he get? Yeah, he couldn't have got back up. Yeah, he couldn't have got back up there. Um, So maybe, man, look at that too, man. 507 comments, dude. This guy's popular as fuck. Although, I don't know when the comments were made. I don't know when the picture was taken. It could have been a bunch of, other people. Um, it could have been a bunch of YouTube people. So is it possible that this guy's lying about the hiding in the bushes? That this is like a plea to his family and stuff like that. Like, I'm safe. Don't worry about me. I'm hiding in the bushes outside, as opposed to, the moron, being retard strong and fucking hanging out outside of his room up on the 32nd floor trying to figure out what's going on, talking to anybody who walks by saying, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You know, I mean, it's possible, like, right? Somebody, he could have saw the police go by him. He said, "What's going on?" He said, "Hey, there's a security guard that got shot up here. You need to get in your room." And then he posts that stupid shit. I mean, what's going on? Uh, Not sure though on the timing on that. Let's see. Hodge's Facebook social media activity post attack at what is this? That's 10:29, approximately 14 minutes after the attack has ended. Mr. Hodge posts Facebook live shooter with the gun in my hotel, Vegas right now. I got outside safely and hiding in the bushes. Yeah, I say could have been lying about that. Just to calm people down. I don't know, but just saying. Let's see. We note that this post attack, uh, 10:29 p.m. message geolocates. Now they're using PM. What the fuck? Not using military time anymore. Geolocates Mr. Hodge in Enterprise, Nevada. What? Oh yeah, it does. It says Enterprise, Nevada. Huh. That's weird. I'm not even sure where Enterprise, Nevada is. The Facebook geolocation feature no longer identified him as being in Las Vegas, as per the previous post when at the restaurant. If Mr. Hodge was, as he stated, outside the hotel hiding in the bushes, it is possible as geolocation function would identify him as being an Enterprise subdivision of Las Vegas. In the Enterprise, okay. However, Mr. Hodge could also be as far as 5 miles away, also be, oh my God, dude, speculation like crazy. And with the time between the end of the attack and the posting, traveling such a distance is feasible. Um, Furthermore, detailed investigation is needed into. Well, I guess they're not speculating; they're just going off on what could be. I guess so. I shouldn't be so hard on this. Um, Further detailed investigation is needed into Mr. Hodge's movements using other remote sensors to include cell tower data, CCTV footage, and whatever personal electronic device Mr. Hodge happened to be have been using that particular night. Below is an illustration of Google Map estimate of the Enterprise, Nevada location at which Mr. Hodge's cellular phone is geolocating. Again, earlier Facebook postings of Mandalay Bay geolocated Mr. Hodge in Las Vegas. This new geolocation in Enterprise, Nevada needs to be further reconciled against Mr. Hodge's earlier posts. Okay, so it's like a personal residence area. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right, man. It may just be he was getting a different tower, maybe because everybody was on their phone at the same damn time, and maybe he was locking up the network, or they were locking up the network, so he ended up pinging off a further tower. I don't know. Let's see. Mr. Hodge makes several odd posts to his Facebook account in the immediate aftermath of the attack. Strangest being the following, in which he claims that he was staying in room 32134 and Mr. Paddock was in room 32135. The post was uploaded on October 2nd, 2017. And it's seen here. The shooter was next to me. His room is 32135, and I'm in room 32134. Oh my God, that's awkward. That's really awkward. I remember seeing this back in the day. This is fucking awkward, man. Um, uh, da, 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 da. That's yeah, it's awkward. It's awkward because I mean, he was in what 3-2. I don't know. I forget what the room number he was actually in, but did he just get the room fucked up? Did he get the room mixed up? I mean, I don't know. Or is he just being an asshole and posting like it's happening right in front of me, dude? I see the whole thing happening. All right. Let's see. So in this Facebook post, Mr. Hodge placed himself inside second room 32134. That was rented by Stephen Paddock using Mary Lou Danley's account. This room is also most likely hallway egress point for a possible second shooter. Yeah, okay. And then we got this. Yeah. Okay. We've all seen that. We also note that having breached 32135, the police SWAT team was required to perform a second breach of the doorway between suites 32135 and 32134, as the latter had been locked from the inside. Also note that both 32134 and 32135 had security cameras deployed. The cameras deployed on the food cart had wires that ran back into room 32134, according to the photo found below. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Look at that. No crack in the door there, man. I don't see the crack in the door. One possible question that cannot be overlooked regarding the plausibility of the second shooter theory: is it possible that Mr. Hodge did not adequately communicate with Mr. Paddock on the cover story pertaining to their rooms? Is it possible that Mr. Hodge was posting on Facebook his original cover story used to justify his presence in the hallway, having departed from room 32134? Possible miscommunication with Mr. Paddock may have caused Mr. Hodge to believe wrongfully that room 32134 was a separate room for use in their cover story. Note that Paddock was packed and prepared to escape prior to committing suicide, as per the official narrative. Perhaps Mr. Hodge felt he was already captured on camera and needed to utilize some excuse to justify his camera presence departing 32134. That's an interesting theory. That is actually a very interesting theory. I mean, you imagine that if Hodge was the second guy that was swiping cards at Paddock's door while Paddock opened the door for him at 9:36 that night. That'd be kind of crazy. Let's see Hodge's signatures and location. Further data mining of Mr. Hodge's activity on the night of the attack reveals that while he was originally located at the Mandalay Bay and surrounding Enterprise area, departed downtown Las Vegas while publicly claiming to have been hiding in the bushes outside the Mandalay Bay. Let's see. Mr. Hodge's signatures reveal that he's located approximately 10 miles north of Mandalay. See, I don't think he was ever hiding in the bushes because we would have seen him. You know, he was claiming that the cops showed up. I believe that was a later post. He said, you know, cops are here or something like that, or he's hanging with the cops or talking to the cops or something like that. We have body cam of all that. Mr. Hodge's signature reveals that he is located approximately 10 miles north of the Mandalay Bay Hotel at 1900 Las Vegas Boulevard North. One of the applications of Mr. Hodge's phone registered him at this location in the period following the attack. Okay, what application? What are we talking about here? Later that morning, when was this? It says reveal that he is located approximately 10. It doesn't say when. Let's see. Later that morning, approximately 2:45 a.m., Mr. Hodge checked into the Vdara in downtown Las Vegas. Mr. Hodge's arrival at the Vdara is confirmed by Mr. Hodge on both Instagram and Twitter accounts. So, are they saying that night he ended up at that hotel? Yeah, the bushes thing is bullshit. So what are they saying here? This is weird. Mr. Hodge's signature revealed that he's located approximately 10 miles north of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. I know that's that is this weird hotel he was supposedly at with these Mexican nationals. But what time was this? And is it possible that since he got locked out of the Mandalay Bay, he somehow ended up way the hell up there because all the roads were blocked and closed off. He couldn't get to the Vidara. It took him till 2:45 in the morning to get into the Vidara, to get into anything, man. I mean, to give him the benefit, if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here, he was in the Mandalay Bay, most likely on the floor of 32nd floor. He was up there and got kicked out by the police. Police escorted him out of the hotel, told him kick rocks, and now he's got to find a place to stay. Gets in a God, who knows, whatever he could find, and somehow somebody drove him up to that damn hotel. He ends up there, outside of Vegas, and then all of a sudden now he's got to backtrack, find his way to the Vidara. He could have hitched a ride, could have hitchhiked. Who knows? I don't know. This is weird. Later that morning, approximately 2:40, Mr. Hodge checked in the Vidara Hotel, Las Vegas. Mr. Hodge's arrival at Vidara Hotel is confirmed by Mr. Hodge on both Instagram and Twitter accounts. Why was it not verified with the hotel? Let's see. A detailed geolocation timeline for Mr. Hodge during the 5-hour period surrounding the attack can be developed. The motel location at 1900 North Las Vegas Boulevard is seen here. And that looks like a sleazeball hotel, man. I mean, hell, dude, maybe he got a room at this place. Thinking, hey, if all else fails and I can't get back to Mandalay Bay, maybe I'll just stay here for the night. In this dirty ass, hotel that, God. Let's see, still have problem with the locked interrogation report with all the escape from 134, whether Hodge or anyone else. I don't understand. You're talking about the 936 double whammy there. I just went over that today, man. It's crazy. Yeah, you could spoof location, but why would you? Why did you spoof location? On that, I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, I just wrote an email today to somebody about that whole lock interrogation 134 936 thing, man. That gets crazy, man. It says room not open until morning. What do you mean? You talk about it doesn't say that for 134, does it? I mean, they probably I don't know if they even opened that door. I don't think they did. I think they left that door closed. I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. There's I mean, you have to string so much shit together to put a second person in that room during the shooting. Before the shooting, it's not that hard, but during the shooting, that's a pain in the ass. I mean, I could put 3 people in that room before the shooting if I really stretched it, but dude, no. Because one thing about that 936 thing, 933 is what's crazy about that is at 9:29, I think it was it 9:29? I think it was 9:29. He was swiping cards for 135. He swiped a card for 135. He opened the door, and I think, if I remember right, he held the door open and swiped a card for 135. And then a few minutes later, all of a sudden, he's swiping a bunch of cards for 134 on the same door, and then the door's open from the inside. That's weird. That's just weird. I mean, so what happened to the 135 card that he was just holding a few minutes before that? It's just weird. It's fucking bizarre. That's a weird thing. And it's just he should have had a card in his pocket for 135 and known which one it was because he just swiped it minutes before that. And then all of a sudden, we end up with that, bullshit thing where he's swiping all the 134 cards and the door's open from the inside, like you couldn't get in or something, but he could get in. He had somebody had a key, so there's just an issue with that. And then somebody asked me about the tape in the door, but until somebody can explain, what actually constitutes within the system that the door is open, whether it's the tongue being pushed into the into the door jamb to create a contact, or whether the contacts are up in the door somewhere on the top or the bottom, which I don't think it is, because I remember looking at those doors and I don't remember seeing anything on the top or bottom of those doors when we stayed there. So I don't know, man. Until somebody can explain that to me, in detail, the tape on the door thing, I don't know, man. I don't think I buy it. And I don't know why he would do it anyway, because he just, minutes before that, used the stupid deadbolt to keep the door open. So he knew about that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know. Let's see, especially according to Mr. Hodges' statements, he was hiding in the bushes for 3 to 3.5 hours. What? Fucking crazy. Claims that he was rescued by SWAT. Why would Mr. Hodge be reluctant to explain his presence at this motel? And is there any additional evidence that supports his presence at this location 10 miles away from Mandalay Bay? See the interview with Nicole Barlow in Australian news outlet. New outlet. Let's see. Mr. Hodge makes an accompanying post, including pictures on his Facebook account. This posting seen below depicts numerous LVMPD officers in the Mandalay Bay lobby and is alleged by Mr. Hodge to have taken place approximately 1:30 a.m., roughly 3 to 3.5 hours after the attack. Just got rescued by a SWAT team and heading to safety. Fuck me, dude. He posted these pictures? Dude, I mean, I remember looking at this guy. I don't remember some of this shit. He posted these pictures. So who took these pictures? Like, who actually took these pictures? They look like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to find that, dude. I'm actually curious now of this, the body cams on these guys. So, oh my God, what the fuck? So that's the thing, right? Do we have body cam of this? Do we have any of these? Did any of these guys have their body cams on? This is actually outside the hotel too. So this is yeah, we do. We have stuff. We have this stuff. So this is outside the hotel. So if this guy took the picture, we should see him in the body cam. But this indicates that he was outside the hotel. That's weird. But this might be after he was kicked out of the hotel. So, I mean, it's possible, but yeah, I don't remember ever seeing him on body cam. I remember seeing one blonde dude that I thought maybe looked like him, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's outside. That's valet right there. That's right outside in the valet area. So this dude should be on body cam somewhere if that's the case. But I'm guessing that, and we even see a SWAT guy down there. Just like trying to make his storyline work. I'm wondering if he was up in the room and this is when he got kicked out of the hotel. However, a closer analysis of these pictures highlights several inconsistencies and odd patterns regarding Mr. Hodges' posted statements. First, the posting is also from Enterprise, Nevada, and not Las Vegas, Nevada, as his previous post from the Mandalay Bay. So that indicates that because this is the Mandalay Bay, that indicates that there's a problem with the geo-tracking on that. Second, the officer is located just outside the main lobby of the Mandalay Bay Hotel and not outside in the bushes. The cops are not in the bushes, you people. What the hell? Oh, sorry. Just reading comments here and there. I should burn through this though, man. I gotta go. Third, the officers in Mr. Hodges' pictures appear to be somewhat hurried and uncertain posture, which is more likely seen during an immediate response to an active shooter scenario, perhaps first hour, but almost certainly not 3 hours post incident. Yeah, no, it could have been all night before 4 a.m. Finally, the pictures all appear to have been taken in a few short seconds. It is possible Mr. Hodge took these pictures during his hasty departure from the Manly Bay for later use as part of his cover story. Further investigation is required. Yes, so I agree with half of that. That was probably during his departure. Let's see. Note on Friday, October 27, 2017, an investigative journalist published a receipt showing Mr. Hodge had, in fact, rented a room in the Manly Bay Hotel. Mr. Hodge, is that Laura? Was that Laura? I don't remember Laura talking about that. Having a receipt. Mr. Hodge's room was indeed on 32nd floor with an arrival date of September 30th, 2017, and planned to stay through October 5th. However, the room receipt shows that Mr. Hodge rented room was actually 32314 and not 32134. So he had a moment of dyslexia. So somebody told him it was 32135. He said, "Oh shit, I'm right next door to that." As per his Facebook post, Mr. Hodges' reservation. I mean, you know, it's yeah. I can see that mistake. Wow, I didn't know Loomer had that receipt. That's crazy. She was a machine, man. Let's see, Mr. Hodges' reservation was made with his M Life account number. Oh wow, we have his M Life account. That's interesting. Now, if we knew his passcode, we could go over there and use some points. Let's see, what was Mr. Hodge tying himself to the room 32134 via Facebook? A case of dyslexia, like I said, poor memory, or a case of attention-seeking behavior. It could have been all three. Or an adrenaline-fueled tactical misuse of his cover story. Was Hodge's rented room 32314 part of Paddock's and Hodge's planned cover story for their anticipated escape? Whatever the case, fact remains that Mr. Hodge's social media behavior and interview statements remain worthy of further investigation. We also look forward to seeing the results of any biometric collection and analysis done on the Paddock suite of rooms. Mr. Hodges' Facebook activity continued throughout the general time period surrounding the attack. And another interesting post at the same time as the police picture posted above, Mr. Hodge states on October 2nd, 2017 at 1:13 a.m. That day, shooters killed the security guard on my floor. Hodges' statement is wrong and the security guard did not expire. Just interesting that he knew that he got shot. Let's see. However, a security guard had, what time was that? 1:13 a.m. Well, that was a while after. However, a security guard had, in fact, been shot and wounded on 32nd floor. So, like, we had the head of security down there in that area, in that exact fucking area where he took those pictures, supposedly. And that motherfucker was saying that the guy came out spraying fucking gunfire down the hallway. He could have heard some weird shit like that from anybody. However, a security guard had in fact been shot and wounded on the 32nd floor. How did Mr. Hodge know only 3 hours after the attack, in advance of the public and most officials, that a security guard had been killed on 32nd floor? Well, he was there. He was at the hotel, obviously. So yeah, he heard it from someone. Someone said something stupid. It's also noteworthy that Mr. Hodge states the security guard was killed as opposed to wounded. It's possible Mr. Hodge repeating, and see, so he's wrong, right? So he didn't actually witness it. We know that, and he wasn't the one that shot Campos. We obviously. It's possible Mr. Hodge repeating initial faulty news reports, but it's also possible Mr. Hodge was present during the shooting of the security guard and assumed, having fired numerous rounds at him, that the security guard had expired. No, sorry, bro. I'm not following that. I don't agree with that. Let's see. Thank you. I might have to when you get out. If you need a place to stay, you're welcome to come here. Thank you. I might have to. My floor is a crime scene. They killed a security guard on my floor. So I wonder if Mary Cybella here was at that shitty motel. I wonder. Could it be like Mary Cybella? I don't know. I don't want to go into speculation on her, but could it be she was at that hotel and that's why he went there? And then he saw the place. He said, "Ah, fuck this! I ain't staying in this shithole," and went over to the Vidara. Because if you stay in Mandalay Bay, then I'm guessing he's used to a certain comfort level. Let's see. Surveillance data depicts Mr. Hodge departing the area surrounding the Mandalay Bay in the aftermath of the attack and traveling to a motel that is 15 minutes transit away, that is located approximately 10 miles north of downtown Las Vegas. Now, I'd like to see how he got there because that would be interesting. You know, because I don't know if any cabs would be. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he could have flagged a cab down at that point, but I don't know. Mr. Hodge located at Naughty Pine Motel at north whatever after the attack on October 3rd, 2017. Mr. Hodge posts on Facebook, as seen in the picture below. Note that he ignores the question that he is asked by Barbara Ann, but responds directly to an unasked question. Maybe he doesn't like Barbara Ann. There was only one response. This is a classic deception indicator. Did you see the shooter, Brian Hodges? There was only one. Did you see the shooter, Brian Hodge? There was only one. I know, but did you ever come in contact with him? Brian Hodge, hey mate, I'm in Australia, and a friend on my Facebook is sharing news stories of you saying there were multiple gunmen. Can I correct him? Where's the response? Wait, what they're saying is wrong though. Hodge posts on Facebook. No, he ignores the question that he is asked by Barbara Ann. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He answered it. Said, "Did you see the shooter, Brian Hodge?" He said, "There was only one." He answered it. I know, but did you ever come in contact with it? He didn't answer that, and he didn't answer this Mitchell Demon guy either. I mean, are these people screwed up or what? Because that's wrong. Hodge's social media signatures and geolocation. On October 2nd, 2017, Mr. Hodge conducts at least 2 television interviews with 5 radio interviews with Australian media outlets. After this PR blitz, Mr. Hodge heads east to Albuquerque, New Mexico. How do we know he went to Albuquerque, New Mexico? What is this crap? What is this? But does not publicly acknowledge his travel on any of his social media accounts. On October 4th, Mr. Hodge returns to Las Vegas by unknown means of travel and departs Las Vegas for Los Angeles on October 5th, 2017. I haven't seen anything saying that he went to Albuquerque. I mean, I guess they haven't described that. They haven't explained that. Of course, this begs the question: why does Mr. Hodge go from Las Vegas to Albuquerque, then return to Vegas, then go on to Los Angeles? What is his purpose? So, like, yeah, I mean, that New Mexico thing, I think that's BS, man. Because, like I said, my understanding of Hodge was that on the 3rd, there was a convention that he was dealing with. He was hosting or whatever. I'm not sure where the convention was. Maybe it was in the Mandalay Bay. I don't even know. And if that's the case, he could have said, well, screw this, the convention's not happening. And he could have went out to, he could have went to Albuquerque at that point, and who knows what's out there for him. There's all kinds of possibilities. But yeah, I haven't seen why they're saying Albuquerque was a thing. Of course, this begs the question: why does Mr. Hodge go from Las Vegas to Albuquerque, New Mexico, then return to Vegas, then go on to Los Angeles? Well, he lives in Los Angeles. Was this his purpose? What was his purpose? Whom did Mr. Hodge meet in New Mexico during his travel? Why Mr. Hodge went on this unacknowledged and very brief trip is not known, but it is a major point of inquiry. None of Mr. Hodge's social media statements or overt communication addresses his travel or his location in New Mexico. So where is it coming from then? Where's this coming from? See, this was posted on a website called National File. I looked it up, found things saying it's a big conspiracy site. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is, but I want to know who wrote this. Who actually wrote this? The curious anomalies. Mr. Hodge identifies as staying in Mandalay Bay, room 134. Mr. Hodge is actively concealing his geolocation on Twitter during time immediately following the attack, which I don't think is a thing. Mr. Hodge has odd pictures and anomalies in his Facebook and Instagram posting that merit further investigation. Okay, you can further investigate whatever. Mr. Hodge also has odd and unexplained travel pattern signatures, all merit further investigation. I don't see the weird travel because I don't believe the Albuquerque, New Mexico thing at this point. Mr. Hodge, normal behavior pattern is one of an open, candid, and prolific poster of other activity. So, like, he's a lefty. Who cares, right? He works in L.A. He works in Hollywood, and he probably works with a lot of big name, people. Well, in his industry, so he probably works with a lot of Hollywood people. So I don't doubt that he's a lefty. Trans rights, all that bullshit. I don't doubt that at all. There's no reason to doubt that. That's not out of character for this person, um, for a person coming from Hollywood. However, since Las Vegas attack, Mr. Hodge has attempted to conceal his electronic social media presence, locking down his Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, of course. I'm sure he's getting just bombarded with people fucking with him. Our team was able to recover much additional data using a special program that cuts into the redundant back files of his social media sites and associated applications. Many of the hits that we found may not relate to him as they were done based upon name only, but others are definite hits because we included the search query, his known phone numbers, email addresses, handles, facial recognition, surveillance cameras, and geolocation history. Let's see, the search tools confirm that in the period immediately following the attack, Mr. Hodge appears to have departed Las Vegas. Okay. The search tools confirm that in the period immediately following the attack, Mr. Hodge appears to have departed Las Vegas on October 2nd and traveled to Albuquerque, New Mexico. What search tools? They're not giving us anything here. They're not giving us anything about that. It's all bullshit, Mr. Hodge appears to have returned to Las Vegas by unknown means of travel late on October 4th and early morning of October 5th. Now, see, here's the problem, right? This is what I'm having issues with. If this was official, this is legit, right? And this is actually coming from somebody within the government, which I would expect because this is going to somebody within the government, then why would this not be written by the FBI? If this is written by the FBI, then the FBI is truly sad because they're using, sources from the internet for one thing, right? Instead of doing their own research, they're using these things, these been verified accounts, and saying that this needs further investigation. If you're getting this, if this is an official source, you should be doing your own investigation, not asking people, or just mentioning, having a comment saying this needs further investigation. That's an issue, man. This is squirrely, man. This is suspect as hell. Let's see. Mr. Hodge does not acknowledge this travel publicly on any of his social media sites and remains strangely silent on Twitter during the periods of October 2nd through October 5th, despite having just escaped the largest mass shooting in American history. Immediately following the attack, during the morning of October 2nd, Mr. Hodge appears in numerous Australian media reports, including print, radio, and television. Notably, he does not share the links to these radio and television interviews on any of his own social media outlets. This is highly suspicious behavior. Later in the day, on October 2nd, Mr. Hodge departed Las Vegas and arrived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm getting pissed off. They keep saying that without giving us any evidence to it. While in New Mexico, Mr. Hodge appears to have traveled to the Anatola Doner Kebab House located at Albuquerque. Further detailed investigation on Mr. Hodge's. So is it possible that somebody somehow got a hold of this kebab guy, and that guy is the generation of this trip to New Mexico? That just the restaurant itself is the trip to New Mexico. Um, I don't know. And then could it be, just picturing the wrong person? But then how did somebody track down this kebab house in New Mexico? That's weird. Yeah, this is definitely not the FBI. This is, I mean, eh, best case scenario, this is a private investigator hired by uh, this official, this politician, um, to look into this thing, and he did a very cursory look into this thing. Probably found Laura Loomer's channel and ran with it, but I don't know. Um, let's see. I mean, Laura Loomer might even be able to tell you what this Albuquerque thing came from, where that came from, because this might even be her stuff. She had Loomer did a lot of Periscope stuff. Periscope's not even around anymore, but she did a lot of Periscope stuff after a while. So, and I didn't catch all those at all. So I caught a couple of them though. I always like Laura, even though 10 accuses me of not liking her. Fuck him. I like her. Let's see. Mr. Mehmet Kingo, whatever the fuck, appears to be a Turkish national from Adana, Turkey, a known center for Islamic State activity. So just because you come from a place that is a center for Islamic State activity does not mean you are a part of it. And apparently he was trying to get away from something. He came to the States, get away from all that shit. Mr. And was ISIS even around when he left and came to America? I mean, 2017, ISIS, I think, was fairly new at that point. I mean, not completely new, but they hadn't been around that long, and if this guy had been in the country for more than 10 years, was ISIS even a thing back then? Let's see. I can't remember I can't remember what year it was. We went and destabilized the shit out of Iraq, and ISIS formed out of that. But whatever. But they're not giving us that information, so who knows? Mr. Google Social Security. Yeah, who cares? I mean, they did some research, right? They got Social Security numbers for all these people. Approximate date of birth is March. Well, it's redacted, right? So one other thing that's gonna really fucking drive me nuts here. I'll go back. I'll show it at the end here. One thing that kind of is give me bullshit on this redacted stuff. I have a feeling this redacted stuff is I don't know. There's something wrong with it. It's bothering me. But I'll show you later. He has approximate date of birth of March 1972. Mr. Kokengul's phone numbers are so like the redacted stuff. Like a phone number, right, is 10 digits. So that redacted was placed there, and the information underneath that redacted is deleted, right? It's gone. It's not there. There is no phone number there. All there is something that says redacted. That's it. There is no phone number underneath that little black spot there. It's not redacted in that nature. What it is they deleted that completely off of this thing, or they just omitted it, never put it there in the first place, and just wrote redacted as part of this. Because if you're looking at this, and I know you probably can't see this, but this redacted thing right here is, let's see, how many characters would this be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nah, it could be 7. I mean, I'm looking up here though. I guess could be. Because you'd have to have a period there as well, so it'd have to be 8 characters, and you're probably going to have the hyphen, so that would be 10 characters, right? So this would look as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Um, it's tight. It's tight. I don't know. I don't buy it. But no, I think I'll show you up top there where I think the redaction is bullshit. Social security number, so that should be what? Uh, so that should be nine, right? 9 digits social security number, plus two dashes in it. So that would be 11. So we got what Turkey here is, and they're using different font sizes, right? So that kind of screws things up. Let's see. Let's look at this. Um, so one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Nine, nine. Yeah, so they're about nine. The redactions are about nine, and they're all uniform. They shouldn't be uniform because all these words are going to be different. They're going to be different sizes. So to me, this looks like the redactions are simply they either didn't include this information or they deleted the information, just put this redacted in its place. That's what it looks like to me. And it looked like that above, which if I forget to go back, up top, they were showing like all the different places that said, had a house, and then it would say in, and then it would have a redaction, right? And it would have a redaction. But when they're saying the house in, all the redactions were the same size, right? The redaction is the same, and it's going to say something like, the house should say something like Albuquerque, New Mexico, with a comma there, right? So that's going to be a shit ton of characters. I don't know, man. Those redactions are suspect to me. Turkey, yeah, I don't care where this guy's from, dude. To be honest with you, let's see. This guy may also be using his social media and specifically his Facebook page to establish an operational cover. Oh shit! Dog whistle. On the day that Mr. Hodge was in Albuquerque, Mr. Whatever posted a picture depicting a midday motorcycle ride. However, this is an odd activity for a chef managing two restaurants to undertake in the middle of a busy work. Why? Why? Why is that weird? Why is that weird? He wasn't working that day. He had other people work. Why is that weird? Further investigation reveals that this is actually an older photograph and did not take place on the day of its post. Okay, you answered your question. Awesome. Coincidentally, has not published on Facebook since the week of the attack. That's a little sus, but whatever. Mr. Hodge remains in Albuquerque until October 4th and returns to Las Vegas. How do we know that? How do we know that? Mr. Hodge then departs to Vegas, returns home, Los Angeles, October 5th. While Mr. Hodge located in Albuquerque, he is physically identified as being located somewhere near the following location. Okay, here we go. Physically identified. Um, who identified him and Sister Bar? What the fuck? See you anytime ATM. Let's see. So I don't know Albuquerque, New Mexico, so I don't know any of this stuff. There's a library over there. There's a Hyatt. So yeah, I mean, if he was staying, well, I don't even want to entertain this, dude. I really don't. Okay, his hiding in the bushes alibi. This is all like, yeah, this is all Brian Hodge thing. Let's see. Mr. Hodge claims to have been hiding in the bushes from 10:30 p.m. on the night of October 1st till 1:30 in the morning. This is simply fantastical and impossible to believe. Intelligence methods reveal that Mr. Hodge's location was Naughty Pine Motel in North Las Vegas. Follow-on investigation has discovered that the Naughty Pine Motel records include only two occupants on the night of the attack, and one of these was an interesting registration. Wow, they only had two people there. What? Um, Interesting registration. Is worthy of further investigation. Below, please see image of the registration of interest. Wow. I don't know if LBSA is still in here or not, man, but I'm curious if you ever went by that Naughty Pines Motel. I'm very curious. Um, Registration of interest. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? I don't. registration of interest. That's weird. Let's see, registration, notice to guest, advance payment requested. Let's see, Sunday. Number of persons, 3. Huh. Yeah, this looks. Yeah, I know Loomer did a lot of this. She was all hardcore about these guys. The receipt reflects occupancy of room number 17 for the nights Friday, September 29th, and Sunday, October 1st. Total receipt shows $140 billing, which is consistent with 2 night stay of $75 for Friday night and $65 for Sunday night. It does not sound like a cheap hotel. Like, really? Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's Motel 6 rates. Oh, hold on a sec, guys. I gotta take care of this. Sorry for the. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to. I got something going on here. All right. Anyway, um, she reflects occupancy for room 17 for the night's price September 29th, 2017, and Sunday, October 1st, 2017. Total receipt shows a $140 billing, which is consistent with 2 night stay. Sunday, yeah, I guess, like Motel 6 is about $60 or whatever. So yeah, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Cheap hotel. The individual associated with this room is a Mexican national named German Torres Moreno. Mr. Moreno has Mexican federal driver's license number. See, they even got driver's license numbers on these guys, supposedly. But a driver's license number, shit, how many characters is a driver's license number? I don't even know, man. Well, it's federal driver's license number, so even if I pulled mine out, I wouldn't know. So, okay, yeah, whatever. Mr. Moreno's date of birth is 9/4/82. So, federal driver's license. He's a Mexican national with a federal driver's license. What does that even mean? Like, does that mean he's got like a? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that even means. Is he a truck driver or something? Does he drive cross border or some shit like that? Um, Interestingly, Mr. Moreno's green Ford vehicle has a license plate tag that identifies the vehicle as being from Guanajuato, Mexico, and specifically the city of Peñamo. Um, okay. As part of Mexico has dealt with Islamic State related issues as depicted in articles like those here. All right. Judicial Watch. I don't know what Regeneracion is. eluniversal.com. Okay. I don't know those sites. I mean, Judicial Watch, I know Judicial Watch, but so again, we're threading the needle here as far as this part of Mexico is. So we're just putting a lot of things together. Um, I don't know. Let's see, ISIS recruiter working out of Guanajuato, bringing in U.S. Mexican fighters. Okay, yeah, whatever. At least 150 Mexicans were in the Islamic State of Syria. What? Really? Really? I didn't. That's weird. The British Institute of Defense, IHS, Janes published a list where the number of foreigners who have joined the ranks of the Islamic State since 2013 is broken down by nationality. Of 12,000 foreigners, there were at least 150 Mexicans or of Mexican origin. Okay, Mexican origin. That's a little bit different. If we're talking about Mexican origin, it's yeah. Doesn't mean they were Mexican nationals, I guess, but who had traveled to Syria to fight against President Bashar Assad. Okay, well, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care either. Recruiter of the jihad in Guanajuato. According to the informative site, a few months ago, September 2015, the military intelligence and agents of the Special Prosecutor's Office for High Impact Crimes of the Attorney General's Office of the state discovered an Islamic State recruiter in Leon, Guanajuato. The aforementioned was a martial arts teacher and practiced acupuncture. Awesome. However, it cannot be stopped because the dissemination of jihadist propaganda is not a crime in Mexico, and apparently neither is recruitment. Hold on a sec, man. I got people messaging me here. Let's see. Let's see. Did Mr. Hodge meet up with Mr. Moreno? And Mr. Moreno and two other individuals associated with this vehicle. Associated with the vehicle? Now we're going off the vehicle? Why does Mr. Hodge use such vague and abstract alibi to explain away this 3-hour time period? Is a possible team of Islamic State operatives that has crossed into Vegas to support the attack of the Route 91 festival? Okay. If so, did security guard cause Mr. Paddock and Mr. Hodge prematurely initiate the attack prior to the arrival of this team of operatives? And would this explain the enormous number of weapons and amount of ammunition? It would if it was true, but I don't believe it. Who is Mr. Moreno, and does he know Mr. Hodge? Why did Mr. Moreno stay at this Naughty Pine motel on Friday evening and then on Sunday evening? Where was he on Saturday evening? I don't know. Maybe he's working out there or something. Maybe the guy does some workout. Who knows? Hodge's social circles and possible Islamic State ties. We discovered that Mr. Hodge is in communication with individuals associated with travel to Medina. What? Okay. An outfit based at. So, see, all these redactions, they're all the same because they say redacted. You can barely see it, but it says redacted. Which I should have just counted those letters instead of trying to count letters below it. But they're all the same. Why are they all uniform, man? Redactions should not be uniform in any sense, but that's just weird. Yeah, and an outfit base of what? Is this an address? Is this like 1300 something drive or something avenue? That wouldn't fit there. Like almost nothing would fit there, as far as an address. So those redactions are a problem, big time. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say is like these redactions are all uniform, right? And they shouldn't be. There's no reason for these redactions to be uniform in length, because this would have been a very large address, right? So this address would have been probably, I don't know, fucking 10 or 12 characters long at least. And that's if it's like 5 Broadway Avenue, or something stupid. In Brooklyn, New York, even Broadway would be too long, 5th Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. But that's an issue, man, because that redacted is they're all uniform. It shouldn't be, right? So these addresses would either be too short or too long for that, which means these people did not actually include that information. So whatever that is, it's not redacted. It's just they didn't include it. And they decided to throw that redacted in the place of whatever it is. It's not like a normal redaction where, they blank something out. What? What about the link? That's true. Yeah, you know what? You got a point there. Yeah, a website can't be redacted. But you would think, like, I mean, well, okay. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'm just tired. It's been a long fucking day. And I haven't slept yet. But yeah, I guess they probably just, like I said, deleted this information or just didn't put it in there when they wrote this. And then instead, they just put this black redacted thing over it. I guess that's all they did. Um, I don't know. It's just weird. That's a weird thing. I'm not used to seeing that. Um, this physical address includes at least three other known businesses and appears to function as a storefront for various semi legitimate businesses' activities. Okay. A website is traveltomedina.com. Contact information screen captures can be seen here. Click on this. The site cannot be reached. Oh, okay. So this is an old site then. It's a site that's no longer around. You can probably use the Wayback Machine to figure out what that is. There's something in the final report too that you can't see anymore. It's like a Google Map thing, and I one of these days I gotta go on the Wayback Machine and see this. So this is probably what the website looks like. I'm guessing. 52nd Street, Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, so that would have said 52nd Street underneath that redacted. Um, let's see. Sorry. Let's see. Let's take you to Medina. Yeah, whatever. New York, Domestic Business Corporation. County Kings County. Let's see. Data. Okay. Process name Azra Banyo. Uh, what the fuck? Azra Banyo? That means bathroom. Not sure what Azra means. Let's see. Citywide Contact Corp. Restoration entities with the same location. Okay. Plaza Restoration Corp. Citywide Contracting Corp. I Travel Services. I'm so like lost in all this shit, so I can't even remember why we're looking at this address. Wow, that's a dump. Holy shit, that's a dump. All right. Mr. Hodge has no obvious reason to have contact with a business that supports Umrah and Hajj services as part of his network. This is an interesting data point and worthy of further investigation. Mr. Akhlaq Ahmed Khan appears to be the manager of this venue, and additional investigative work is necessary to understand the exact function and network of financing surrounding the business entity. Additional investigation needs to be done to see if Mr. Hodge has another reason for having contact with Hodge service organizations, as he does not outwardly appear to be a practicing Muslim. So, man, okay, let me go back up, dude, because I don't know why we're even looking at this website because my brain is not working this early in the morning. We discovered Mr. Hodge's communication with individuals associated with travel to Medina. Um, he's in communication with them. So how do we know he's in communication with them? I mean, was it on his phone or something? He called these people or some shit. I mean, so who cares? I don't understand why. I mean, they're just this is crazy. They're not giving you any background on why. Let's see. So Mr. Hodge makes numerous press statements in the 24 hours immediately following the attack on Australia radio and television. Oddly, the first of these public statements was made in immediate aftermath of the attack to a public relations specialist named Nicole Barlow in Australia. Ms. Barlow's email appears to be, and her phone number is whatever. Mr. Barlow published an article. For this aftermath. Okay. I thought it was Miss Barlow. Mr. Barlow published an article in an Australian newspaper at 9:30 p.m. on October 2nd, Australian time. This means that the article was published before 2:30 a.m. in the Las Vegas area. A link to and screenshot of the article is pictured below and shows the date and time of the original publication. Okay. In this article, which was published 2:30 a.m. Vegas time, Mr. Hodge claims to Miss Barlow that he is staying in a hotel in the outskirts of town while he waits further instruction, and he was meant to be in Las Vegas for 2 weeks. These recollections are not consistent with other public statements and social media posting by Mr. Hodge. This requires further investigation, beginning with discussion. Miss Barlow, see if she has notes of their discussion or an exact time that she communicated with Mr. Hodge and by what means. But they're not showing the article. They're not showing the article. Former WAGA man Brian Hodge escapes shooting in Las Vegas. It's him escaping. Yeah, but it's not like I want to see the article because I want to see the context, right? Because context is everything in this stuff. So, like, all right. So, if my timeline, my understood timeline of Brian Hodge, is Hodge was up there in his room when all this shit went down, got rushed out by police, out into the curb, and lied about him hiding in the bushes because he was up in the room because that was the only way for him to know at the exact moment when the explosion went off. So after the explosion went off, they cleared out his room, kicked him out of the hotel. He's out there down below with the cops. They're saying, you ain't coming in back in tonight. You better find another place to stay. So Hodge hitches a ride with God knows who or what, and ends up all the way at the north end of the strip because you can't drive the strip because the strip is shut the fuck down. The freeway is shut down as well. So somehow he hitches a ride all the way to the north side of Vegas where, nothing shut down. Everything's fine. I don't know why he didn't go to the Stratosphere, but maybe the person driving him was not going there, So, the person drops him off this, seedy ass motel because Brian Hodge probably figures, well, fuck it. I can stay here. I don't care. I just need a place to stay. Ends up there. So 2:30 a.m. Vegas time. Yeah, he could have been at this hotel. He could have actually got a fucking room there. Who knows? And he could have been at this hotel and saying, yeah, I'm at this hotel in the outskirts of Vegas. And he could have been legitimately talking. And there would be no conspiracy with that. He could not know these Mexican nationals. He could have run into them while he was there. Who knows? It doesn't mean shit. I mean, it's a conspiracy. It's just a theory. Let's see. So, staying at a hotel in the outskirts of town while he awaits further instruction that he was meant to be in Vegas for 2 weeks. So maybe he's waiting for his, he's calling his company saying, hey, I need a room, dude. They just kicked me out of my hotel, man. They kicked me out of Mandalay Bay, dude. I need to get another room, dude. Where are you guys going to put me? Can you put me somewhere else? Something like that. These because I'm sure he's not paying on his own dime, dude, to go to work. These recollections are not consistent with other public statements and social media posting by Mr. Hodge. This requires further investigation, beginning with the discussion with Miss Barlow. The only thing it doesn't fit with is him saying he's hiding in the bushes. That's what it doesn't fit with. Analysts note that the phrase the reporter used in her article on the outskirts of town aligns with earlier digital data that showed Mr. Hodge not staying at the Naughty Pines, people. He was at the Naughty Pines. And I hate that freaking name. That's stupid. In the time immediately following the attack, for orientation purposes, map showing the distance between Mandalay Bay and Naughty Pines is here. What? Hour and 14 minutes. 16 minutes. Yeah. Okay. That's more like it, dude. It's like right outside town. Our analysts and researchers have not found any interviews with American television or radio personnel, despite Mr. Hodge's proximity to the largest mass shooting in American history. Okay. Yeah. He didn't talk to American media. That's fine. A sample of, let's see. Sample of the in-depth radio interviews from Australia are listed here. Yeah, those would be interesting, but I'm not going to go through them now. I'll go through those later. I just like a lot of this. It's like they're going through it anyway, so I don't have to. These radio interviews, which all took place within 24 hours of the attack, Mr. Hodge identifies himself as staying in the shooter's suite located on the 32nd floor during the attack. Departing, he was all screwed up. Mr. Hodge withholds significant information from the interviewers and does not disclose the fact that he has found shelter in the Vidara Hotel or describe his exposure to weapons firing until prodded by the interviewers. All right, well, didn't want to say where he's staying. That's fine. Mr. Hodge described in vivid detail a view from the 32nd floor as victims are cut down with sweeping shots. That uses the term full on to excitedly to describe the attack. Oh God, 300 wing. Can you see the freaking? I don't think you can see the venue from 300 wing. So yeah, I don't know. I said I'll have to listen to him. I'm not going to do that now though. I'm running out of time here. Mr. Hodge knows Mr. Pack brought a specific hammer that is designed to break glass, double pane, and bulletproof, or whatever casino glass is made of, in order to shatter the windows of the hotel suite. Mr. Hodge claims his monitoring social media and listening to police live scans. Mr. Hodge claimed he need to get us outside the casino to kitchen employees, which was possibly in order to avoid the imminent lockdown of the hotel or to avoid cameras. Yeah, probably the former. Let's see. Yeah, I'll look at the videos, man. I may do another video on this and just go through those. But so far, I'm thinking this is bullshit. Mr. Hodge states in his interview there are 100 odd shots, which is strange coincidence given the use of 100 round. No, it's not a strange coincidence. He just picked a number. Picture below from Mr. Paddock's room depict a rifle with this type of 100 round magazine affixed. That's not weird. Mr. Hodge expressed concerns about how to demonstrate we are civilians, as well as a general fear of getting shot by the police. Well, yeah, okay. Let's see. Mr. Hodge claims he attempted to return to his room within the first 24 hours of the attack and made it as far as the 32nd floor, but had to leave due to a memory of the shooting, stating, "I was faced with what I was faced with that last night. The sound of the guns and the fire of the bullets when I was up there," and claims to have allowed hotel staff and police to go in. And the police go in and gather his belongings on his behalf. Yeah, well, they probably did. Yeah, there's a lot of Loomer stuff here. Mr. Hodge states that, would it be crazy if she wrote this? That'd be nuts. Mr. Hodge states that immediately after the attack, he needed to stay down, stay hidden for 3.5 hours. All right. Mr. Hodge says, from the hotel room, some of my team could see when describing what the attack. So, yeah, if he's working for this company and he's out there for that reason, he's probably talking to his coworkers at the time, and his coworkers are probably staying in the same damn hotel. Mr. Hodge also, and maybe that's where he's hearing all this stuff, man, from his coworkers. Maybe his coworkers are seeing. Maybe those pictures were taken by his coworkers and sent to him, and then he just wanted to be a glory hound. Mr. Hodge also freely appears on Australian television and subjects himself to 2 live on-camera interviews as seen in the footnote. Note that Mr. Hodge specifically states in this TV interview that we are not going to use our phones. Okay. When describing his interface with the police, Mr. Hodge says that the police had detonated a bomb at the front of our doors because he had died. What? Nose tone describe. Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably do this later. Mr. Hodge states that it's an interesting feeling to describe his reaction to the attack. Mr. Hodge does not describe or admit to having heard the actual weapons firing while he was on the 32nd floor until he is pressed on about the subject by the interviewers, and then he elaborates on the attack and the weapons in vivid details. In both TV and radio interviews, Mr. Hodge recounts a word-for-word story with very few specifics to all the interviewers and only speaks to the events on the 32nd floor when pressed by the interviewers. There are points in the interview in which he seems to lose track of his story, reveals more then he would like or changes his story. So, oh man, let me see what this is. What am I on? Page 45 here. I want to see what the rest of this looks like. Oh, so he has 51 pages? Okay. I could probably, yeah, I can knock this out. All right, let's do this. Because I'll go back and all that stuff later. I'll come back and do a second video on this later today. Additional research reveals that Mr. Hodge worked in Australia in the casino entertainment industry. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, in Australia, he did. Yeah, and remains employed at the entertainment industry in the United States. Mr. Hodge was employed by Jupiter Casino on the Gold Coast of Australia, January 2009 till February 2013, per his LinkedIn account. St. Patrick's girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley, heard a lot about her tonight. Was both a former casino industry employee and resident of Australia's Gold Coast region. Further research is required to assess social networks of Mr. Hodge and Miss Danley to see if there was any nexus through family, friends, or colleagues in the Las Vegas area, as well as within the Gold Coast, Melbourne areas of Australia. See, I'd like to hear that too. I'd like to see that. And again, I'll go through all those later. Additional data collection shows Mr. Hodge in contact with Miss Becky Liston. What additional data? Who's employed with the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group in Boston, Massachusetts. Ms. Liston's previous employment with Bellagio, MGM, Monte Carlo, and Boardwalk Hotels and casinos established her as a potential link between Stephen Paddock via his spouse, Mary Lou Danley, and Mr. Hodge. This needs to be further developed. Yeah, okay, whatever. If you're not going to tell me how, then I just don't buy it. Let's see. Additional research need to be carried out that is aimed at establishing direct, indirect communication between Mary Lou Danley and Mr. Hodge through various people, places, and organizations, whether in Australia or in the United States. Another possible point of convergence between Mary Lou Danley and Mr. Hodge is Kathleen DeLeon Jones, a small-time actress, wealthy through marriage, who resides in Las Vegas but operates in the same Australian Filipino circles as Miss Danley. Note that Miss Danley was fully aware of Mr. Paddock's involvement in the attack and took steps to conceal her relationship to Paddock by locking down and later deleting her Facebook account in the immediate minutes and hours following the attack and prior to Stephen Paddock being publicly named as an assailant. That is fucking strange. That is definitely a strange thing. According to his faith, and that's that's never been explained, as far as I know. According to his Facebook logs, Mr. Hodge traveled to Berlin, Paris, London, and back to Berlin approximately 2 weeks prior to according to his Facebook. Okay, so his Facebook. All right, that's cool. It's possible that Mr. Hodge used this time in Europe to confer with potential operatives or persons associated with Mr. Paddock. Why wouldn't you just go associate with Mr. Paddock directly? Whatever. Here again, liaison work needs to be done with other equities and stakeholder partners. Recent established work by Ed Klein reveals that FBI was closely monitoring Antifa operative engagements with Islamic State and Al-Qaeda personnel in Germany, and that the FBI has discovered a level of chatter between left-wing revolutionary groups and Islamic terrorist groups. Okay, whatever. Interestingly, since the attack, Mr. Hodge has again traveled to Berlin, Germany on November 16, 2017, and London, UK on November 17, 2017. The Berlin travel, like his New Mexico travel, does not appear to have been publicly acknowledged. What does that mean? He didn't post it? He's not a guy that posts all the time? Travel data queries show that and how do you know he went there then? Show that Mr. Hodge arranges his own travel to London in November and Australia in December. Okay, so travel data queries. Okay. Is this just a flight connection? Does he remain overnight in Berlin on November 16th? Social media data must be further rectified with his travel records, of course. Please do more research. This highly unusual travel pattern. I don't know if it is. Let's see. Several analysts remark that this type of hurried international trip occurring inside an existing trip was atypical and required further detailed investigation. Several analysts, like who? Um, Moreover, detailed analysis of his spending patterns, credit card usage, and method of transit is required. So, like, yeah, that's stupid. Several analysts, who the fuck are they? And what is this? Like, why is it atypical that a guy travels, right? Because he's not traveling for vacation; he's probably traveling for work. Um, Mr. Hodge flew to Melbourne, Australia on December 8th, 2017. Mr. Hodge only remained in Melbourne for a day or two before returning to the United States. Okay. I mean, dude, I I know a guy that we went to Vegas for a bachelor party. He got drunk one night and had to drive home that night because he worked for a large company as a sales rep, and they told him he had to be on a plane to France in the morning. So that shit happens. And then he went to France, I think, for 2 days, I think it was, and then came back. It's like it's not weird. It's just what he does for work. Melbourne, Australia, Antifa. Woo, was one of the first organizations to claim this attack, stating the target was fascist Trump supporting dogs. Their initial post was up briefly, is now deleted, but is captured here. Fucking Antifa. Jesus. One of our comrades from our Las Vegas. So when was this posted? Did they say when this was actually posted? Um, Not here, it doesn't. Is interesting to note that initially claiming an attack and then deleting the claim appears to be a normal tactic for Melbourne Antifa. Oh, they fucking deny anything that makes them look bad. There's a recent incident in which Melbourne Antifa attacked an Australian government official, initially claimed the attack, and then immediately deleted and retracted the claim. Mr. Hodge hails from an area near Melbourne, Australia, and traveled there in December 2017, but only for a day or so. He was in Australia and geolocated on December 10, 2017, the same area as the attack on Flinders Street train station, approximately 10 days later. Okay, 10 days later, something happened there. Yeah, okay. This is possibly just an odd coincidence, but worth noting. Yeah, looks like an odd coincidence. It's not even that odd, really. Mr. Hodge posts on Instagram that he owns 2 MacBook type computers. Technical exploitation using commercial capabilities identifies Mr. Hodge as owning a computer, a MacBook, an iPad mini, as well as a new iPhone. Additionally, investigation needs to be done to ensure a capture of Mr. Hodge's full technology, hardware, and software profile, including possible use of encrypted applications. All right, yeah, whatever. It's a beautiful day to save lives. Okay. Despite his radio and public statements indirectly asserting his fear of and lack of familiarity with weapons and firearms, Mr. Hodge took his friend Casey Conway shooting at the Los Angeles Gun Club in 2016, according to a Twitter post by Mr. Hodge's friend Casey Conway. From this post, our analysts infer that Mr. Hodge is familiar with firearms and could comfortably operate them. Okay, so can a lot of people. What the fuck? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's his buddy, huh? Um, let's see. Some might assess that if Mr. Hodge acted out of political malevolence, then the attack Route 91 festival was probably directed towards President Trump supporters. If Mr. Hodge acted out of political malevolence, acted doing what? What did he do? What are we saying he did? If this supposition or theory, conspiracy theory, is correct, it would seem logical that such persons committing this kind of act are aligned with the Marxist socialist violent movement. What? However, the presence of Islamic compliant religious travel organization contact information on Mr. Hodge's phone, okay, so they got that off his phone, is worthy of further investigation. Additionally, the presence of Mexican nationals from an area of Mexico with known Islamic State activity at the same hotel that Hodge appears to have utilized as a safe house is worthy of additional investigation. The social political context within which the Las Vegas attack took place cannot be ignored. Yeah, it can. In the overall analysis, the past 2 years have seen a steady rise of violence by left wing political groups in the United States. The convergence of Islam. Fuck, dude. Wait a couple more years if they would have wrote this. It would have been massive. The convergence of Islamic State and Antifa-like interests opposing the rise of American nationalism could be driving these groups to operate together in ways not seen in the past. The attacks conducted by groups like Anti-Fascist Action, Antifa, and Black Lives Matter have generally targeted police, American nationalists, and conservative politicians. When was this written? Because now it seems like this part of this is written recent. This seems very recent. It feels recent. I know BLM's been around for a while since the Obama administration, but this seems very recent because BLM did not do a whole hell of a lot until 2020. This escalatory trend has been a progression from blocking traffic and protests to attacks against Trump supporters during the 2016 election cycle to targeted assassination of police to mass casualty attacks against police to the attempted targeted assassination of conservative congressmen and what could be some involvement in the first large-scale mass casualty attack directed against American nationalists or perceived Trump supporters. Yeah, this is all recent, man. Islamic State claims regarding the attack are readily explained by the recent release of a classified FBI memo from July 2017 that shows FBI was aware of ongoing collaboration between Antifa operatives and Islamic State, whatever that crap is, the acronyms, I don't know. Some analysts, God, fucking this, some analysts, this is like reading a CNN news article or something. People close to the president or people who understand the president's thoughts have said it's like, you're fucking stupid if you believe that shit. Yeah, they were active in the Ferguson riots, but they weren't really attacking police. They were getting their butts kicked by the police. Let's see. Some analysts have concluded that Mr. Paddock was killed because he had completed all of the logistics, procurement, and financing of the Vegas attack, did the deed, and was expendable. The possible second shooter was perhaps a fly-in with limited personal contact with Paddock and who had cover for status and cover for action to perform the attack. Further link analysis and cross-domain analytics is required. Yeah, for connections between Paddock and Hodge. Basically, anytime they say that, it says we don't know what we're talking about. Let's see. Further investigation and verification of the information discovered through various sources, focusing on the role of Brian Hodge and his team, as described in his interviews, is required as well. Again, you don't know what you're talking about. Some believe that it's possible that Mr. Paddock, who believes, and the second shooter plan to utilize an alternative room, perhaps 32314, is reserved by Hodge as part of their cover for escape. However, poor internal communication post-attack adrenaline may have led to an operational compromise. Hodge continued to name room number 32134 after having already escaped the hotel. This may also have been an attempt by Mr. Hodge to explain his presence on the hallway, approximate to the known shooter's suite 32135. Yeah, further investigate. It's all further investigation, man. Mr. Hodge requires detailed investigation and interview. Further investigation. Initial research shows that social media direct messages and historical data have been wiped. Emails, addresses, and content have been wiped. What initial research, dude? I mean, what? Do you have his phone? Are you checking his phone? How do you know that he's wiping this crap? Direct messages and various social media forums have been deleted. Okay, well, social media forums, I get that. Mr. Hodge also shows various irregular travel patterns that are concealed from social media and general knowledge. Yeah, we've already fucking kind of gone over that. In addition to this, Mr. Hodge has changed his phone and his address since the attack. Mr. Paddock probably procured a large amount of ammunition and weapons, as well as a very large suite encompassing 2 rooms, believing there would be a team of Antifa. Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. Antifa don't seem that capable of something like this. Affiliated individuals, I mean, a bunch of kids fucking throwing balls of piss at cops does not seem like, yeah, whatever. Affiliated individuals available to conduct the attack. Did security guard attempt to attack and trigger a response from Paddock and Hodge prior to Hodge's team arrival? Let's see. Let's see. Wherever the truth lies is not as claimed by the ever changing story and the recent silence of local law enforcement. There are too many inconsistencies within digital behavioral legacy database profile of Mr. Paddock for him to have carried out his attack alone as presently portrayed. The poor quality of the autopsy report is damaging the credibility of the police and security apparatus. There are too many missing pieces of his competition and life puzzle, and particularly during the period of October 2016 to the date of the shooting, almost exactly 1 year later. All right. Whatever. I don't know what the fuck I just read, but it is interesting. I mean, it's cool. It's something new came out. I just don't. I don't buy it. There's just too many problems with that thing right there. Um, anyway, I gotta go, man. I've been fucking up way too long, almost 24 hours. I gotta get some sleep, and whatever. Um, let's see. Yeah, I know. I wanted to read it. I wanted to check it out. It's actually. I mean, it's interesting. Like it's interesting to think about, but it's not. There's just too much. They're threading too many things together, dude. It's just too. It's weird, but I mean, it's interesting some of the stuff they're talking about with Hodge, and if you could actually go back and research some of that, it's interesting. The Hodge thing was always interesting to me. You know, that dude's a kind of a weird dude, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It could be nothing, and it probably is nothing. You know, would be interesting if he was the guy that opened the door at fucking that 939 though, but I kind of doubt it. Anyways, I'm out of here. Stay safe. Have a good day, and I'm gonna go pass out.